going on, everybody? It is Velocity Motorsports time for Tuesday nights at Darlington tonight. Race number 8 is where we're at here under the lights in South Carolina. Joined in the booth as always by Shadilak. We've been kind of watching the guys run through practice, running through some laps, seeing what the faster lap times are, where guys are able to maybe conserve tire, maybe figure out what to do here at this track that is too tough to tame. Shad, you were out there running some practice laps. You were getting some Darlington stripes of your own. What are you noticing on track as far as the way the setup feels and the way that these guys will have to drive this track tonight to be successful and make it to the end and try to get some points to catch Nick Gowan, who apparently just showed up. So we thought he wasn't going to be here tonight, but he just showed up in the lobby. So he is here, your points leader. So what are these guys going to have to do to contend with this setup? And I'm going to have to wait 1 minute here as Shad is still down talking to a couple different drivers, figuring out fuel strategies and things like that for tonight's race. But what I was seeing out on track is a lot of guys are very fast on short runs. We'll see if they're able to make it up on the long run. The track is very, very thin as far as the driving lines. You can't really make a whole lot of passes. You're going to have to do it in certain spots. You got to time it. If you mistime it, you're going to have to let off. You're going to have to give. I know the owner admin, Tyler Belanger, was preaching give, not take tonight, or else they may run out into a same situation as they did with Rockingham, and they definitely don't want to see that. So they want guys to be smooth tonight, want guys to be clear on making choices on passes and things like that, and not blocking terrible or nothing like that. So we'll see what happens here, but as I'm waiting for Shad to come up into the booth here and give us his smarts on whether or not these guys are able to drive this track the same way that they normally are or not, we'll see. But I'll bring him up in the booth. Shad, are you out there?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I was trying to tell everybody you've been out there running practice laps. You've been trying to figure out the setups. You've been trying to figure out how these guys can navigate and be able to get to the end of this race. What are you feeling on track based on the setup that is given to these guys in velocity and how they're going to be able to use that setup to be able to make it to the end of this race and collect some valuable points?
Well, what I'm feeling out here on track is they're extremely loose, tight getting into the turns, but loose on exit, especially 2 and 4. It's pretty dangerous. But what it's going to come down to at Darlington, being this old surface that the Lady in Black has, it's all about long run, saving the tires. If you go out here and start putting down qualifying lap times, after about 15 laps, you're going to start falling. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight, as long as we do get those long runs, is the guys that can save the tires.
Well, we've seen a lot of guys have issues. We've seen some guys be pretty dominant this season. One of those being Nick Gowan, your points leader, by a significant margin as of right now. He wasn't particular that he was going to make it to tonight's race, but I did see him jump into the lobby, which is probably a bad sign for everybody else. They probably thought they were going to maybe gain some points. But Jovi Ray has been saying for weeks, Shad, since basically week 2 when he joined this league after missing Daytona, that Darlington was the race that he had circled. I don't see him really being that fast as of right now in practice, but is that a real significant mark for us to know how fast guys are in practice with short run speed, or does it really not matter what your short run speed is? We've seen the fueled up motorsports guys be super fast on short runs, but they lack the long distance for the long run. So does it really matter? Is Jovi being 10th fastest in practice? Is that a key sign that he may not be there tonight at the end, like he has been so many times in a row now, finishing second and third in I think every race except for one? Or is that just he's got the average speed to be able to make it through the end?
I mean, it depends. If this turns into a Rockingham with a lot of cautions, you're going to want that short run. If it turns into a long run, which we're all hoping to see, then, he could have that long run speed and not be showing his hand in practice. But, it's all really depending on what Jovi's doing right now in practice, and the only one that knows that is him, of course. But I wouldn't be too concerned Um, if he knows what he's doing, because this track is about not making mistakes, being consistent, being close to the wall, and just surviving basically if this thing turns out to be a wreck fest.
I mean, you've driven Darlington so many times. You've been very good at Darlington. You have a lot of good races at Darlington. How do you navigate this track as a driver, trying to, put it down in a layman's term for the novice race car driver out there that's not an iRacer? How do you navigate this track as hard as it is? Everybody always says it's too tough to tame. You always see the Darlington stripe. It's such a thin kind of line of where you can go on this track and where you can't. How do you navigate it so well?
Uh, I would say you have to have a big set of kahunas because through 1 and 2, the speed is right up against the wall, and hitting your marks, finding consistency, and um, that's really what it comes down to is being consistent here. Uh, Driving the track, not so much the drivers. And if guys are wanting to go out there and run qualifying lap times right off the bat, let them do it. Have the mindset of, hey, I'll see you in about 15, 20 laps. Um, that's kind of my mentality when I come to a place like Darlington where I know it eats up tires and where consistency is better than quickness. Um, and like I said, you're on the edge around here, probably more than any track because the speed is up against the wall, pretty much at both ends of the track. And if you jump the cushion, the air gap that these cars have between the wall, you're going to find yourself in the wall. You're going to get damage if you do it more and more. And, it just can ruin your race by doing that. So, patience, consistency, and driving the pace that you feel comfortable with is my keys to having pretty good success here at Darlington.
Well, it looks like they're setting up some sort of kind of practice there where they're all jumping in line to run a couple practice laps here before I guess they're going to run this thing out. But it's odd to see them doing that. But we'll try to grab a couple different drivers and talk to them here. I think you are out of the car now and back up here to the booth. Um, we'll try to go grab Wesley Jeanette, who's fastest in practice. How about that?
Yeah, they're going to do a practice of running too wide just to let guys get familiar with what it takes to get around here too wide. And one spot that you don't want to be too wide is exit of turn two. It is extremely tricky for two cars side by side coming out of that turn.
Well, while they're doing that, let's go through the points then. Right now, Nick Gowan is out front with his 2 wins at 327 points, Chad. He's almost got a 50-point lead over second place, which is Jovi Ray in the 33, who's got an average finish of second because we've seen him consistently finishing second. I think he finished third in one race, and I don't remember the race that he finished outside the top three, but I want to say it wasn't further than fifth. But Jose Ruiz sitting there in third. No wins this season so far. Average finish of ninth. Tyler Belanger, no wins this season. Average finish of 13th. He is sitting in fourth. John Osborne, who I did not see on the board as of yet, Shad, is sitting currently in the top five in points. But that point gap, Shad, is huge between Nick Gowan to let's say all the way down to eighth is over 100 points. So it's just a big gap that he has gained with so many different finishes. His average finish is seventh. His worst race really was Daytona. Because he got wrecked on the final lap and wound up finishing, I think, 17th in that race. Other than that, he's been pretty much in the top five every single race. And because Jovi missed the first race of the season, I think that's where the gap is there as well to Nick. And then Nick having those 2 wins on top of Jovi having zero, he's getting bonus points for those wins, which extends his points lead each time. But going through the rest of the points list here, we've got Nathan Mon sitting in seventh with one win this season a few weeks ago. Bill Hales riding out in eighth right now with no wins. Ryan Crooks with 2 wins has finally crept up into the top 10 after missing several races this season. He's still in the top 10 in points. Jason Blaney with 0 wins, sitting right there in the top 10. Chris Murphy, your buddy Shad in the 7. He's got no wins and he's had a horrible start to the season. He had two good races back to back, and then last week got wrecked on lap 2 of the race after leading 1 lap, starting on the front row. Johnny DeSpasquale is rounding out our top 12 playoff drivers currently on the board, but that can change at any moment with only a handful of races left before we go into that playoff hunt. So these guys are trying to get every point they possibly can to stay in that top 12 and battle it out for the money that they got on the line tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those guys sitting outside of the top 12, you got to start making your move. The regular season is coming to a close. And if you want to find yourself in that top 12 fighting for a championship or fighting for a payout, um, you got to start making your move. And why not do it here in the Lady in Black, a track that, can claim cars really quick. There's not a lot of room when it comes to the car, the walls, and the cars that are racing beside you because this place is fast. And good cars can get taken out with just a small mistake. And based on when I was out there on track, Kurt, this car was loose for. I mean, I ran I think 12 laps at one point, and the car was still loose. So these guys are going to be fighting loose conditions. I think for most of the run, maybe towards the end, these things will finally start to tighten up as the tires fall off. But those guys outside the top 12, it's your time to start making your move into the points and getting yourself ready for the championship.
Chad, do you have any kind of knowledge on the weather, how it plays a factor at Darlington? Right now, the track temp is 76. Usually, with cooler temps, we see stickier tires and things like that, where it's not so slippery with it being hot and greasy on track. But the temp is not high, so the fact that you keep saying that the car is loose, is that based on just the setup, or is the temperature playing a factor into it?
Yeah, it's just the iRacing default setup. It's loose with these Gen 7 cars. The temperature is helping them actually quite a bit because if the sun was out, this track was, 90 plus degrees, they would have even more of a problem. It'd probably wear out the tires quicker and they would probably tighten up faster. But with these low temperatures, it's allowing them to be a little better than what they would be, but it also is going to allow these cars to stay loose for longer because the tires aren't wearing out as quick. But I still expect to see, on a fuel run, lap times falling off probably by more than a second and a half from what they run. Obviously in qualifying, we're going to see 29 ones, well, probably 29 twos, probably what we see in qualifying, but probably by the end of a run, I expect these guys to be running somewhere in the 30.5s.
Gotcha. Well, I was gonna try to bring up our fastest in practice, and that was Wesley Jeanette, but he has not laid it down a qualifying lap yet, so I don't want to mess him up prior to his qualifying. So I'll go look for a different driver, and we'll pull one up that's already laid a qualifying lap down. And I do believe that Jason Blaney has completed his, so we'll go and talk to him as he was one of the faster drivers in practice as well. Bringing up Jason now. Jason, you got a copy of this to Swats and Shadowlack in the booth.
Yeah, I got you guys.
What's going on, Jason? You were pretty fast in practice with your teammate Wesley Jeanette there. You guys hovered in the top five pretty much the entire practice. And right now, as we're sitting here, you are fastest in qualifying with a handful of drivers still to go. What is it about Darlington that is pushing you Fueled Up Motorsports guys to the top here?
I think we're just getting later in the season, man. The tracks are some are going to be good, some are going to be really tough. I just feel like we're at that point in time where we're in the playoffs, but we need to start making up some points here. So I think just the determination and the turnaround on the rest of the year starting at Darlington, especially from the start that we've had. We're still chasing wins. We're still trying to do what we can do, but I think just that pressure of you know the time ticking is kind of getting to us.
Gotcha. Chad, any fast or any questions for this Fast 22 out here on Darlington?
Well, it's kind of like a broken record, but Jason, you and your teammate, like Kurt said, quickest in practice. You're sitting at the top of the board during qualifying. What's the long run pace for you and your teammate feel around here? Because if we do get that long run,
Hmm.
obviously we need to hang on to those tires. So, how's the car feeling when we get past
Um,
20 laps?
I feel like we've got a line that most of the field hasn't really discovered yet, which I can't give too many details, but I think we've had a long time trying to figure out how to make tires last and maintain the best overall speed. And we have one part of the racetrack that we seem to have figured out. Whether it actually works out in the way of green flag, that we stay green enough for it to make a difference or not, that's the deciding factor. But I feel like what we figured out is kind of keeping our tire wear in a pretty good shape for us to have the most gradual um, fall off as far as tires versus just falling off a cliff like I've seen um, this track definitely being able to do if people push it too hard.
Well, Jason, we definitely appreciate you coming up and giving us a little bit of insight here at Darlington tonight, and we would just want to wish you good luck and hope to see you in the battle for a win, maybe here at the end.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me in.
Yep, no problem.
I hope to give you guys a show tonight.
You guys always do. We appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Chad. So that's the 22 who was fastest or one of the faster cars in practice. Currently has been taken off of the top of the pedestal here. His teammate Wesley jumped into second, and Cole Martin, Chad, is actually at the top of the leaderboard right now for quickest in qualifying, with still a handful of guys to go. There's a lot of fast guys who have not laid down a qualifying lap. And I don't know if that's because they're just waiting for the temperature to move, or I noticed some guys do that where they wait longer in the run before they come out to wait till the very end to get those laps in, whether it's the temperatures or the time of day or the humidity or whatever it is. They seem to always wait towards the end, but I don't think the temperature is going to change very much. And the humidity, I mean, the relative humidity right now is 58%, and it hasn't changed since I've been watching earlier on, and the temperature really hasn't moved either. So I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but we'll try to grab another driver here real quick and talk to another one before we go into the national anthem here. It looks like Jovi has laid down a lap and actually jumped up to second on the board in, I think, his first lap there. So we'll wait for him to finish, but we'll go and grab, I don't know, pick a number, Shad.
5.
We'll go and try to find Devontae Peterson then. See if he is in the Discord. He doesn't normally sit in the Discord, so I don't know if I'll be able to find him. I don't see him in the Discord at all tonight, so gonna have to choose another one.
Hmm. Let's go. Well, Jovi should be done. Go with Jovi.
All right, I'll go try to find Jovi real quick. And I don't see Jovi in the Discord either. Third time the charm? Actually, you know what? I'll just grab Wesley. He's done. Wesley, you got a copy of this? Is Shad and Kurt in the box?
Yeah, man. Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, you were fastest in practice and one of the fastest in qualifying so far. It looks like Jovi and Cole maybe took out your lap time there, but you're going to be starting up towards the front. We talked to your teammate Jason about you guys' speed in practice, and obviously, you know, we had the question about the long run and things like that. But you know, Darlington's not an easy track to figure out. You guys have obviously figured out something. Jason said you guys had maybe figured out some secret in one of the turns, but didn't want to give it away too much there. But what is it that you know Darlington's bringing for you tonight to be one of the fastest to get that first win of the season?
Well, I'm hoping it goes green as much as possible. I think I'm actually a little better at tire saving here than most, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know about any secrets. We just, we put in a lot of work this week to get our times down, so we'll see how it all turns out. But it definitely one of my favorite tracks on the service. So I know it usually tends to go the other way for most people. Most people tend to not like this place, but I love it. So hopefully it'll stay clean and we can have a good race, see how it turns out. I think we got a good shot tonight though.
Wesley, we talked to your teammate about the tire saving. Obviously, you guys have the one lap speed. Is there kind of, for the people watching, is there like a lap time you guys are shooting for to start these runs to where you're not cooking these tires?
There's not necessarily a lap time, but there's some lift points. Like the lift points that I'll be using will be quite a bit different in the race, depending on how people are pushing around me. But and what I found out in practice is even when I run my conservative line, we can still put a pretty quick time down. But it's probably somewhere in the threes is probably what it'll end up looking like. But in clean air, I can still run a pretty fast lap and save tires. So see how it turns out.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming up to the booth, Wesley, and good luck on tonight's race, and see if you can avoid the Darlington stripe as much as possible.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. Thank you, guys.
Yep, good luck. All right, we're going to go to the national anthem and come on back for the grading. We'll be right back after this national anthem. All right, we're here for race number 8 at Darlington for Velocity Motorsports. Bringing up the grid right now, and our pole sitter is going to be Cole Martin in the 31. Second on the outside row is going to be that 33 of Jovi Ray. 74, Wesley Jeanette going to start third. Ryan Crooks in the 2, going to start in the 4. Jason Blaney, who we just spoke to, is going to start 5th. Jose Ruiz in the 23. Ward Borton, throwback, is going to be starting out in 6th. Nathan Mon, 7th. Chris Murphy, 8th. Devontae Peterson and Terry Labonte, throwback, is going to be starting 9th. Sean Walton, 10th. Dakota Ramsdale, 11th. Hunter Bailey, 12th. Brandon Watkins, 13th. Johnny DePasquale, 14th. John Taylor, 15th. Nathan Line, 16th. Isaac Brock, 17th. Bill Sleep, 18th. David Mayo, 19th. Ryan Horvath, 20th. Nicholas Gowan, 21st. Bill Hales, 22nd. Tyler Belanger, 23rd. John Osborne, 24th. Andrew Bolander, 25th. Mark Math, 26th. Michael Carter, 27th. Mike Campbell, Papa Bear, starting 28th. Austin Walton, 29th. And Brian Phillips will round out the field of 30 tonight, Chad. And I do want to say a quick thing as it just popped up in the chat again. But I want to give a big shout out to you, Chad, as it is your birthday, for showing up here for broadcast for Velocity Motorsports. Obviously, big deal for the birthday, and hope you're having a good birthday day.
Let me guess, repeat.
Nope, Papa Bear.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So a driver out there in the chat was popping in your birthday.
I appreciate it.
We're coming through turns 3 and 4. Pace car down. Cole Martin going to lead him into the restart zone. And Chad, we are underway at the Lady of Black. Too tough to tame. Darlington, South Carolina. We are underway for 140 laps in Velocity Motorsports.
Yeah, you're going to see these guys quickly try to single file out. I see 2 wide back there with the 7 and the 5. That's not something that's ideal coming out of turn 2. As, like I said in the pre-race show, it is very difficult to come out of turn 2, especially 2 wide. But so far, these guys are singling out. Looks like all the way back to the 24 and the 10, Kurt, is where it starts doubled up. But so far, it looks like the front 9 have all singled out.
Yeah, Sham, we've got a ton of throwbacks tonight. A lot more than I thought we were going to have there when I was first watching practice. Glad a bunch of these guys went to the old paint booth and came out with some old paint schemes. I'm really liking this 31. Not sure it's a throwback, but the Death Wish Coffee Company definitely looks really cool, and definitely love that silver and black. Jovi Ray with the DeWalt, not a throwback. Wesley Jeanette, not a throwback. Ryan Crook's not a throwback. So our top 4 not throwbacking. Actually, top 5 not throwbacking. Nathan Mon with that Dale Jr. Sun Drop paint scheme. Jose Ruiz back here with the Ward Burton paint scheme. Devontae Peterson with the Terry Labonte. Chris Murphy is normal. The 6 Chad, I know that's a favorite of yours with it being Mark Martin. Sean Walton, the mellow yellow paint scheme from Kyle Petty or from Days of Thunder. Not the right number, though. Brandon Watkins with the Kyle Petty 44 Hot Wheels machine. Johnny Pasquale, not a throwback. John Tiller, not a throwback. Nathan Line, not a throwback. Nick Gowan, finally getting to that one you were talking about, Shad, of the 3, that Dale Senior paint scheme, but he threw up his Twitch account nice on the side of it instead of Goodwrench. Hunter Bailey with the Jeff Gordon bronze kind of throwback, that anniversary paint scheme. Ryan Horvath, not a throwback. Tyler Belanger. Is that a Kool-Aid?
Yeah, that's... Oh, Horvath?
Yeah. 26.
29? Oh, never mind. I'm thinking 29.
Yeah, Tyler Belanger in the throwback for Dale Jarrett that he normally runs throughout the season. Bill Sleep, not in a throwback for the M13 TV, I think is what that is. John Osborne in the 81. That is an old school Coors paint scheme, Shad, for the 21, I believe. 53, not a throwback. David Mayo, not a throwback. Andrew Bolander, not a throwback. Austin Walton.
Yeah, Bolander's is.
Oh, yep, sorry, skipped him. It is.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
a
Kevin
Harvick.
Harvick. Austin
Yeah,
Walton.
which actually Harvick's going to run at the All-Star race
Yeah.
at
It's crazy that they're allowing him to do it.
well, it's an All-Star race, so
Yeah,
not that the points really matter, but yeah.
just weird. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else do that before, so. But the 9 out here in the Jeff Gordon throwback. Isaac Brock in the 45. That is Kyle Petty's son, Adam Petty paint scheme. Mark Math, not a throwback. Mike Carter. I can't remember what this is from, but I know it's a throwback. I want to say it's one of the old cars from like the 80s or the 70s. It's got
Which
a name
number?
on the side of it, but I can't see it. The 8. And then Brian Phillips in the 13 shot. That's a Ryan Newman throwback that you created for him. Papa Bear with his same Ford paint scheme that he's got going on. But back up front in this race, 8 laps in, Cole Martin still out front. Jovi Ray still sitting second. Wesley Jeanette third. Jason Blaney fourth. Nathan Mon fifth. Top 5, top 6, and actually top 3 have not changed position since the start of the race. Jason Blaney up 1 spot, Nathan Mon up 2 spots, Ryan Crooks down 2 spots, and Jose Ruiz down 1 spot to start out this race as we're coming up on 10 laps into the race, Shep.
Yeah, I think everyone right now is kind of being patient, letting the track come to them. Obviously, they heard from the admin, Tyler Belanger, before the start of the race. Let's not turn this into another Rockingham, as we've seen a ton of cautions, the most that we've had in this league, any race. So I think right now guys are being patient. We do see a breakaway, obviously, with the top 6 guys before it comes back about 2-3 seconds back to Jose Ruiz in 7th place. But you know, out front right now, I think all of these guys up front here are just riding, seeing who burns their stuff up first. But you know, something obviously that I noticed during practice is that these guys are shifting down into fourth gear through turns 3 and 4. But sitting here riding on board with our leader, Martin Kurt, he is still extremely loose coming out of turns 2 and 4, and we are currently 11 laps in.
How long does it take for that to wear off, Shad?
Typically, from what I experienced running this track was that it would wear off, about that 8 to 12 laps. But then again, that was with warmer temperatures. I haven't ran a league race around here with temperatures being this cold for track temperature. So it could take a little bit longer. It may not happen at all. With this cooler temperatures, the track's only going to get cooler as the night goes on. Obviously, the humidity is probably going to stay the same. Anyone that obviously lives around the Carolinas knows that it doesn't matter if it's 8 in the evening or midnight, the humidity does not change. So, but I do think the track temperature will go down maybe 2-3 degrees by the time we reach the end of this race, maybe more. I'm not known weatherman, but yeah, riding on board with our leader, even though he's out front and has led every lap so far, still loose on exit.
Yeah, and as since I live in the Carolinas, I can definitely agree. Once it starts getting humid in this time of the season, it definitely stays humid most of the time. It does not go away. Walk outside at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it still feels sticky. But I'm surprised the looseness in the car is not going to really go away, Chad. We heard a couple guys during practice. You yourself ran a bunch of laps in practice, and it didn't disappear as quickly as possible. That means that these guys are going to be under a handful of trying to drive these cars later on in the run. And with the tires, the way that they age or get scrubbed off on this old surface at Darlington, if you are already dealing with a loose car, wouldn't that make it worse for them on a long run?
Yeah, if they stay loose, I mean, it's gonna affect your entry, because the car's not gonna want to enter because they were tight on entry. But then, getting back to the gas on older tires, if they stay loose, it's gonna make it even more difficult on the exit of these turns. And Kurt, the guy that's gonna win tonight, we're gonna realize, or we're gonna come to a conclusion of who is the driver in this league, because that's what it's going to take. This is a driver's track. You have to master running close to the wall, tire wear, being consistent. This is a driver's track for sure. So whoever wins tonight is definitely going to earn the Southern 500 trophy.
I mean, we always hear that driver's track. I like driver's tracks. I like when it's a driver's track. What does that necessarily mean to the novice?
So basically, when we come to tracks like, say, Daytona, I mean, it's flooring it, holding a good wheel. When you come to tracks like Old Atlanta, Darlington, of course, Chicagoland before they got rid of it, the tire wear, that's what drivers like, because it gives you the option of either going out fast, getting a big lead, but then guys reeling you back in, or those guys that can go there, save tires, and know that the slightest mistake puts them in the wall. And you'll hear NASCAR drivers in real life always talk about how they like the old pavement because of the tire wear and the options it gives people with running different grooves or different strategies as far as saving those tires. And every time they repave a track, the tire wear is pretty much non-existent, and the speeds pick up, and it makes it a little bit easier to drive. Not that a repave at Darlington would make it so much easier, but it would definitely take the looseness and the tire wear out of the equation.
So what are some tracks that you would reference as similar to Darlington style with that old surface as a driver's track? I know you referenced Chicagoland, which NASCAR clearly took out, which means to me that they're not listening to the drivers if that's the case. The only other one I can think of is maybe or Auto Club, which again, NASCAR's taking out. So it almost feels like they're getting rid of those older drivers' tracks. So is there any others that are like that?
That are currently on the schedule?
Yeah.
Well, Texas is kind of starting to turn back into it.
Even though they repaved
'cause-
it.
Yeah, they repaved it, but it's been a few years now, so it's starting to get back to the way old Texas was. Even though obviously the configuration's a lot different, but uh, Kansas used to be it. But watching this past week's race, it turns out that all you got to do to win at Kansas is aero block cars, and you can stay out front. So I would say maybe a place like Kentucky. That's a place that chews up tires, and you have to be consistent, hit your marks, and not overdrive it, and not cook the tires. So if I would have to guess right now, from tracks that are still on the schedule, it'd be something like Kentucky.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was trying to think in my head what it would be. I mean, Phoenix, not really. Dover, kind of, but Dover's that concrete track. Bristol, it's not the same as it used to be when it was pavement. I liked when we had a lot of pavement tracks on there because, like you said, after years of running on them, that pavement wears off. The concrete doesn't seem to wear off as much. It just seems to get bumpy or gritty surface on it. It doesn't the pavement doesn't wear away to where the surface really changes a whole lot. It's just how you drive the track changes. But the surfaces that are concrete get gritty, like that Texas style driving. When we drive on the highways in Texas, you can hear it in your tires the way you're driving on the road, that it's not a smooth surface as it used to be when it was first laid out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the thing about concrete is once it's laid, it stays consistent, and that's why a lot of southern states use concrete roads because the heat doesn't wear it out as quickly as asphalt. So concrete to me kind of stays the way it is. Dover, I feel like, has driven pretty much the same for a lot of years. I think the new car is what we see more of around Dover, to where guys are starting to migrate to the top. I think a lot of that has to do with that aero block that these cars kind of prevent. We hear Kyle Busch pretty much on a weekly basis talk about you can't pass in these cars. That you just aero block someone and you can run them down, and you can't pass them because of the aero coming off of the car in front of you. It just makes your car tight. And you can't get the run yet you need to make a pass and the Gen 6 cars, it didn't really do that. So unfortunately it takes coming to these old tracks for us to get the racing that a lot of us grew up in because of the old asphalt, basically.
I'm noticing, Chad, a lot of guys getting loose off the corners worse than they were at the beginning of the run. Now we're 27 laps into a run. I was told the fuel mileage would be right around 40 laps, maybe plus one or two, maybe a little less than 40, depending on their strategy calls and things like that. But we know we have the stage break coming at 65, Shad. If the stage break is at 65, wouldn't you split the stage rather than trying to go all the way to the end of the fuel run, knowing that cautioning is coming at 65?
Well, I mean, the leaders right now are out to a pretty, substantial lead. They have separated themselves from Jason Blaney. So it's dropped down to actually 5 now up towards the front. But the front two, Kurt, Jovi Ray, Cole Martin, have pretty much been nose to tail since the drop of the green flag. Nathan Maughan has made up a couple of positions, found himself now in a third. Wesley Jeanette, started third, now back to fourth. And something I'm starting to see, Kurt, is like guys like Chris Murphy. I think he started 8th or 9th and now has worked himself up to 7th, but is almost 8 seconds back, Kurt. As we got a battle for the lead, actually. Jovi Ray just made the pass on Cole Martin coming out of turn 2, Kurt, and he made that look pretty easy. I'm not sure if Cole actually got into the wall or not, but Cole is going to fight back.
Yeah, Cole
now
brushed the wall there.
line.
He brushed the wall, got a little loose, went down to the bottom line, and Jovi was able to come around on the outside. Cole was trying to fight back there, but he's lucky that he didn't make contact because that was super close to the back bumper of Jovi Ray. But Jovi Ray now out front, Shad, leading this race. 30 laps into the run, he has had this race circled since week 2 in the season, has been consistently telling us this was the track that he expected himself to go out there and get a first win. And he's finished second, I think, 5 times this season since telling us in week 2 that this would be the track. could this be the night? It looks like right now he's got a good car to get through here, and he's been pretty consistent. I don't think he's made contact with the wall at all. I don't see any damage on the side of his car at all, but they are getting into some heavy lap traffic all over the place here.
Yeah, it's very difficult to navigate the lap traffic. As you see right there, Cole Martin makes up a ton of ground on Jovi Ray through corner entry into 3, and Jovi Ray gets a break from the 45 car on exit of 4, but the damage had already been done on entry of 3 that, Jovi wasn't able to run the line that he wanted, and Cole was, and he made up some time. But right now, Kurt, watching Jovi Ray, he's doing what I was talking about, running consistent, hasn't been in the wall yet, and is out there running a good pace. And obviously the tires are still there, but Cole Martin, even though he got into that wall car, I looked at his car, looks pretty clean besides a couple of scratches, and he's definitely still got pace in those tires, as he has gained a bunch back on Jovi Ray, especially right there, going through turns 3 and 4. And watching these two cars, Kurt, right now, what I'm seeing is it looks like Jovi is better through turns 1 and 2, and then Cole is better through 3 and 4. And if I'm picking which end of the track I want to be better at, it's 3 and 4, because obviously Jovi right here getting passed by that 31 again. Going through turns 1 on entry, it's really difficult to be too wide. So Jovi kind of had to give up that spot, knowing that Cole had the run and was underneath him, and Cole able to make that pass. Now Jovi under attack from that 21 of Nathan Mon for second place.
Yeah, if this was 5 laps to go, I don't think Jovi gives up that line. I think he stays in it and forces Cole to make a decision whether or not he's going to ride up the track and put Jovi in the wall, or if Cole's going to let off the gas himself. But he put him in a position there where Jovi had to make a decision, and it's early in the race, or before even the stage break here, and Jovi chose wisely, I think, and backed off and let him go. Ryan Crook's been struggling a little bit, Chad, getting loose off the corners for about 10, maybe 15 laps. Ever since about lap 20, I've seen him getting loose off of turn 2 and turn 4 multiple times. Wesley Jeanette now sitting back in 5th. Chris Murphy up to 6th as Jason Blaney falls to 7th, and actually he's going to lose that position to Jose Ruiz. These two had contact last season back a couple times where they ran into each other, but it looks like they're playing nice this season so far. Devontae Peterson having another good run, Chad, sitting in 9th right now, battling against that 22 and the 88, going around the outside of the 5 right now. Tyler Belanger trying to make up another position, jumps into 10th with doing that, and actually moves all the way to 8th with passing Jason Blaney. It looks like Jason Blaney's coming down pit road, Chad. Or he was really slow getting off of that corner, and there he comes down pit road.
Yeah, and I just heard over race comps, Weston Jeanette's coming this time, so they're kind of splitting that stage in half. Ran a little bit longer than halfway, but basically splitting it in half. But I'm riding currently on board with our leader Cole Martin, seeing if the car is still getting loose. And yeah, on exit of 4, the car is still getting loose, having to turn that steering wheel to the right on exit just to keep it straight. So I think maybe, Kurt, with the temperatures, that these cars may just stay loose all run long. And now right there over comms says a 42 of Johnny D coming in this time. So guys trying to split it in half. Currently the lap times, Kurt, have fallen off by about a second. So some of these guys trying to do that undercut, try to make up some time on track there. But looking at that 88 Kurt, Tyler Belanger, like you said, up to 10th place. Did not get a lap time, and my guess is probably hit the wall during his lap, and it didn't count. But found himself back up in the top 10 before pit. But yeah, close call right there as 31 gets loose, but he's going to come down pit road this time. Good avoidance right there as he got loose in the 70. Oh, he gets loose going to the pits. Saves it. Oh, saves it.
Lucky save. Almost made contact with the 199, but he had to do some major avoidance as the 22 was coming off pit road and came back onto the track, and Cole needed to get to the bottom, but he had to swerve right around the 22 to do that. But that's going to relinquish the lead back to Jovi Ray in the 33 with Nathan Mon chasing him. Jovi Ray staying out a little longer. We're on lap 40. We heard 40 to 41 would be the fuel mileage. We're coming up on 41 now, Shad. We're 3 wide exiting turn 4 here. Whew. They somehow survived that one, and Jovi Ray staying on another lap.
Yeah, I think Jovi Ray's trying to run it long. He's obviously got the pace. They got a pretty big gap back to, 5th place before the pit cycle started. So, if he stays out a couple laps, yes, he may relinquish the lead back to maybe the 31, but the 31 having his woes on pit road, as it looks like Jovi Ray's going to come this time, Kurt.
Oh, and Jovi goes around.
Ray spins out. So that was something I actually was going to bring up and forgot about. Was I hope these guys practice pit road entry on these slick older tires, because going from the high banks here at Darlington down to a flat, sharp left-hand turn into this thin pit road, it can be difficult. And they're our two guys that were in first place, both spinning going on the pit road. So Nathan Mon, I think Kurt right now is in the driver's seat. If he has a good entry, which he's coming now, he could be the leader when this thing all cycles through.
He has a pretty good entry, no mistakes there, no sliding or nothing. As long as he can hit his pit stall correctly without blowing through it, he should be okay. Tyler Belanger staying out another lap too, Shad. That's 43 for now. Tyler Belanger, Devontae Peterson, and Jose Ruiz. John Osborne and Andrew Bolander, Nathan Line, David Mayo, and Isaac Brock have all not come down pit road yet.
Yeah, Nathan Mon hits the marks just right. So this could be to where it cycles out depending on those guys that pit quite a few laps before. Now, granted, Nathan Mon's going to have 20 laps to reel those guys back in if that is the case. And as I watch Nathan Mon come out of the pits, it looks like I do see
Cole Martin just went around on the outside.
Yeah, which is actually quite surprising, but his spin actually wasn't that bad. Did not lose a whole lot of time. And then obviously with those fresh tires, and there goes Wesley Jeanette. So that right there shows you that pitting a few laps earlier can help you. Now, granted, his tires, yes, will be fresher, but will they equalize enough here in the next 20 laps to be able to charge back and get that stage win? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, this is going to relinquish as Tyler Belanger and Devontae Peterson come down pit road. John Osborne now going to be your leader in the 81 Coors machine. Out front, Chad, now on 45. So what I was told between 40 and 41, they've definitely gone way past that. But they're closing in on, the 20-lap mark here. I would assume John would have to be coming this lap, and there he goes down.
Yeah,
down the
he
bottom.
is coming.
But that's going to leave Andrew Bolander out.
Almost a wreck coming off of 4. The 74 gets into the back of the 3, Nick Gowan. Nick Gowan got loose coming out of 4, and Jeanette kind of had nowhere to go, got into the back of him, but Gowan saves it, no contact, and doesn't lose a whole lot of speed, but that was a close call right there.
Well, Andrew Bolander is now our leader, getting a lap led. He should be coming down pit road this time, I would think, being out that he's been there 46 laps. That's a lot of laps to be out here at Darlington now. He's closing in on that 15 lap to go mark before we get to the stage break. So it looks like he's getting low, but he's staying out another lap.
Yeah, what these guys that have already pit don't want to see is a caution, because a lot of them are still a lap down and would have to take the wave around. So these guys that are back on the lead lap, they would be fine with it. But anyone still trapped a lap down through the cycle does not want to see a caution to where they have to do a wave round on old tires when everyone else on the lead lap would be able to pit to finish the stage out.
Yeah, which is about, what do we got? 19... About 19th back or still one lap down at least. Andrew Bolander relinquishing the lead to Cole Martin, though.
Yeah, with the pace these leaders were running, we had, almost half the field a lap down before the cycle. Granted, some of them pit a little bit before the leaders did, so they may cycle back out in front, depending on what kind of pace they were able to run on those new tires. But as it looks right now, Kurt, Cole Martin pitting a few laps before the 21. Has got about a 2.5 second lead over Nathan Mon, and we've seen the speed that Cole Martin had. So Cole Martin right now looking pretty good, but Nathan Mon is closing that gap a little bit.
Yeah, he's running about a half second.
And
almost,
there
and
is the caution, Kurt. And I see Jovi Ray, Kurt, and the 199 slow on the backstretch.
We'll go back and take a look to see what happened here to the 33 and the 199. But yeah, that was close. So we'll look back and see what happened here to the 33. All right, so we're on the 33 of Jovi Ray with the 199 right in front of him, coming out of turn 2, and 199 jacks the wall and comes back down right in front of the 33, clipping the right front and turns the 33 sideways. Luckily, no other damage. It doesn't look like no other contact from any other drivers with the 33 being parked in the middle of the backstretch there, Shad. But that was not anything really the 33 could do. The 199 just getting a little too tight and bouncing it off the wall, bringing out the caution here. First caution of the night. That's going to be lap 50, Shad. So we're going to have a 15-lap shootout before the stage break. So a lot of guys who just pit, I would assume wouldn't be pitting, Shad, but some of them are on 11. Some of them are Nicholas Gowan pit 24 laps ago, so I would assume he would be pitting. And then a lot of them are in the teens. There are a few, though, that are in single digits. Tyler Belanger only got 6-lap-old tires. Same with Devontae Peterson and John Osborne. He's only got 5 laps. Would you stay out and try to collect as many stage points as you could, or would you pit now?
Yeah, I think with let me double check, but
they are out front.
So the tire sets are 5 with the ones they started on. So they've already, used one. So they have, 3 sets left in the pits to go the rest of this race. So I think if I'm the guys that, have 10 laps on their tires, I was still running very good lap times, 10 laps into a run, I'm staying out. If you're one of these guys maybe back in the pack and you have, 15 laps on your tires, maybe you can make up some ground, but probably not in, 15 laps. So probably me, I just save them.
What would you do if you're Gowan, though, sitting in 4th place on 25-lap-old tires?
Well, Darlington is a hard place to pass, so, Gowan started towards the back of the field because he did not have a qualifying lap time either. So if I'm Gowan, I stay out, see what I can hold on to. If I can hang on to a top 10, I think it's better than coming down and taking tires, because I think if you come down and take tires, you're not going to get back in the top 10, and what are we going to have, about 12 laps to go when this thing goes back green. But Kurt, Sean Walton, guy who started in the top 10 of this race, he's going to receive our Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog award, as he's going to find himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that 10, I love that paint scheme. I don't like the number being on the side of it being a 10, but yeah, the Mellow Yellow Days of Thunder, Kyle Petty fan. I have a Kyle Petty car that's signed by Kyle Petty from, I believe it was a Richmond race, if I remember when we were kids, that our dad took to Richmond and got signed by Kyle Petty. So definitely a big fan of the Mellow Yellow car. I loved seeing it on the 42 a couple years ago with Kyle Larson, but I'm not sure I like it on a Toyota, though.
Yeah, well, he understood the assignment.
Yeah, it's
just, obviously the number doesn't match up, but
not
either
a lot
way,
of takers for pit road, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are choosing to hang on to those tires, but Kurt, we started this race better than I expected. Going 50 laps under green to start this thing out. It's an amazing job by these guys at a track that's really tricky to run. So good job for these guys keeping it clean and green.
I would definitely agree. They definitely took what the owner admin said this week to heart and really put it on track as far as giving instead of taking. But that was only the first half of the race, Chad. We're only 52 laps into the run of 140 tonight. I feel like that energy is going to get cranked up the closer and closer we get to the end here.
Yeah, I think for the stage, as they're about to go green, as Cole Martin gets the jump on the 21 of Nathan Moss, I think for this stage, we're going to see the fist up, or the elbows up, the fist out, as you guys are going to battle for these stage points. Currently, right now, the 6 up Ramsdale, who just got passed on the outside, going from turns 1 and 2 by the 5 for Devontae Peterson. So Devontae Peterson right now holds on to that final stage point. Up front, Kurt, it's Cole Martin who right now is showing to have that dominant race car.
And towards the back, the 199 got loose coming off of turn 2, went down and hit the inside wall, but did not have critical damage or nothing. Continued on, didn't stop on track or nothing, but that could have been another caution right there, Chef. Nick Gowan up to third, even though he's on those old tires. Brandon Watkins, your pick from a couple weeks ago, Chad, sitting here in fourth in that Kyle Petty throwback scheme of Hot Wheels. Wesley Jeanette now fifth, Jason Blaney sixth, Devontae Peterson seventh, Hunter Bailey eighth, Dakota Ramsdale ninth, and Tyler Belanger rounding out the top 10. And we've got about 10 laps before the end of the stage, Chad.
Yeah, these guys are from third on back are really fighting, as we see right there. Nick Gowan. Oh, we got a car around, Kurt. Exit of turn 2. That's the 24 of Hunter Bailey in the wall. Looked like there could have been contact between the 6 of Dakota Ramsdale and himself. No caution, Kurt. Stays green. Oh, now we got a wreck, Kurt, on the front stretch. 22 in the 5 now. And caution is out, Kurt.
Guys are starting to push it. You said elbows up, white knuckling it.
Yeah, that looked like the 22 of Jason Blaney got loose. And the 5 of Devontae Peterson just had nowhere to go.
Oh, we're going to take a look back at the 22 and see what happened here to Jason Blaney and the 5 of Dakota Peterson. That was quick. We'll back it up here and take another look at this as these two went around. It looked like the 22 might have bounced it off the wall, but wasn't sure about the 44 in front of him. 44 got loose. He hit the back of the 44, went up into the wall, came back down, and spun right across the nose of the 5. It doesn't look like too terrible damage to the 5 car, Shad. The 22 has some big damage to the left front of that car. That's multiple cars being involved in an incident there. Plus the spin earlier with the 199 hitting the wall, having to go down pit road. And then I believe that was another car that we seen spinning off, Shad. I don't remember who it was that you said spun off there. I want to say it was the 24 of Hunter Bailey.
Yeah, 24 looked like he got tight coming out of 2. The 6 had a really good run, and unfortunately the exit of turn 2 is like a funnel, and the 6 kind of got into the left rear of Bailey and spun him to the inside wall. Bailey now has pretty good damage on that left front of that Exalta throwback. They do have a fast repair. He might be able to repair that, though, if the steering wheel is straight, which... riding on board with him right now, looking at the wheel, it does look like it's staying straight, so he might be okay just to use time in the pits to repair it.
Well, we'll bring up our leader, Cole Martin, in the 31 and see how he's navigating this race here at the Darlington Lady of the Black. Cole, you got a copy of the Swats and Shadowlack in the booth?
Yeah, I got y'all.
What's going on, Cole? You've been really fast. Was our pole sitter here. You've led most laps. You've been really, really fast, like I said. How are you able to navigate this too tough to tame track?
It's pretty hard. It's tight and loose. Let's just say that. Coming out of 2, it's very tight, and then coming out of 4, it's loose, going over that little hill or bump, whatever you want to call it. So it's a tough track. Lap traffic is very tough too. But just trucking along here and hopefully get a W.
Well, Cole, you started the race up front. Been out there for a lot of laps. Led you, Jovi Ray, and Nathan Mon looked to be the 3 best cars through pretty much the entire run, short and long. Jovi actually get caught up in a little bit of a tangle, so he's kind of out of the chances of winning this stage. How do you feel about your chances going against Nathan Mon here in that short run to the end of the stage?
I feel pretty good. I mean, it's gonna be hard to pass here. I think me and him will go 1-2 though. We're pretty fast here and saved our tires and stuff, so we should be pretty good here.
Well, you have a few stage wins yourself this season, so going for another one here. I gotta ask, what made you switch up the paint scheme this week from the colleague to what I would say is now one of my favorite paint schemes from what I've seen this season?
Well, I guess it was throwback week, and I was trying to find a throwback, but I don't know if you call this a throwback. I just thought it looked pretty cool, so I got it off
You,
trading
you
paints
couldn't find
there.
a Ryan Newman or a Jeff Burton paint
Well,
scheme?
I found one, but I like this one a lot better, even though it ain't a throwback, but it looks pretty cool.
I
Looks good to
definitely
me.
could
It looks
agree.
like that. Looks like that gray ghost is what it looks like
Yeah.
to me. Very sharp.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'll send you back down to your team at WMS. Good luck on the rest of this race, and maybe we'll be talking to you at the end of the stage break.
Thank you.
All right, Chad. Yeah, I agree. It's not really a throwback. It kind of looks like the ghost car from Dale Sr., but as many 31s are out there for Ryan Newman and Jeff Burton, I'm sure he probably could have found one there. But definitely
I'm
looks
thinking
cool.
Robbie Gordon
Oh, yeah,
singular
Robbie
car,
Gordon. That would have been cool, too. Yeah.
the old black and bright orange
I
singular
really
car
like
that
that
he
car, too.
drove. Yeah, that's probably what I would have shot for if they had it. If not, I would have made it. But
I didn't like
careful
him as a
about.
driver, but
He's really good in the trucks,
yeah.
4x4s.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're about to go green. It's going to be a quick little shootout
Yeah,
to the
5
end of the
laps.
stage.
Cole Martin and Nathan Mon coming to the restart zone. Nathan Mon on the gas pedal first. Nathan Mon slipping back just a little bit. 74 Wesley Jeanette not getting a good start from the second row either. Tyler Belanger on the outside with a big run coming around the outside of the 74. Now closing the gap on the 44. 21 didn't really keep up with the 31 either. Tyler Belanger getting a little loose, or was he diving down to try to get underneath the 44 shed? He's underneath him going through 3 and 4. Can he make it stick down there? Does he have the match grade tires? No. 44 in the wall. 88 completes that pass and moves into third. Now we've got 4 laps left in the stage.
Yeah, Tyler Belanger making a charge, started way back in the 20s and finds himself currently in P3 for some stage points. So a great run so far by our owner admin and Tyler Belanger, driving it in crazy deep right there to get by that 44, but it did stick. So good on him. But up front, Kurt, we got .1 separating first and second as Nathan Mon is trying all he can to run our leader down, Cole Martin.
We're 63 laps into this race. We've got 2 laps left in the stage, Jack. Can Nathan Mon get a stage win? Cole Martin has at least one other stage win that I know of. He might have 2. Oh, we've got
Wreck it
Chris
on
Murphy spinning
2.
around the back. Hits the inner wall, has some damage to the left front shed, but continues on. No caution, out on track, trying to get back onto the racing surface. He's down, stuck on that bottom apron, losing a ton of positions.
Yeah, Murphy's car does not look terrible. I think as long as that wheel is straight, the damage that he has is easily fixable without using that fast repair. So, Chris, if you can hear me on the stream, which I know you're watching, do not use that fast repair.
Well, we'll see what he looks like when he goes down pit road. But right now, Shaq coming off of turn 4, Cole Martin going to come to the finish line. I do believe this is the end of the stage. If it is at the start of 65 or if it's at the end of 65, we'll see how fast that caution comes out. But Cole Martin, Shad, stretching his lead out, and there's the end of the stage. Cole Martin winning stage tonight. Nate Mon going to finish second. Tyler Belanger third. Wesley Jeanette fourth. Dakota Ramsdale, Shad, getting a top 5 in the stage break. Nick Gowan sixth. Brandon Watkins seventh. Austin Walton eighth. Johnny Disquality ninth. And Bill Hills getting that top 10 stage point, Shad.
Yeah, right there, what happened with Chris Murphy is just Brandon Watkins got tight, hit the wall coming out of turn 2, and Murphy was already on his inside and came down and hit Murphy. Murphy did touch the inside wall, but like I said, it does not look that bad. But unfortunate for Chris because he loses out on stage points. Probably should have had 7th, but unfortunately going to get 0. But great run by Bill Hales, Kurt. He didn't qualify very well. I don't even know if he put down a time, but finds himself in the top 10. And then Johnny D as well, creeping in the top 10 for some stage points along with the 9 of Austin Walton.
Yeah, and Dakota Ramsdale, I mean, he's up 6 spots, started 11th tonight, gets a top 5 finish in the stage. Nick Gowan up 15 spots.
That's because he's running that paint scheme.
The Mark Martin, yeah. Too bad he doesn't have the same pedigree of championships, I guess, that other drivers have. But Yeah, we'll stick with that.
Somebody
Tyler,
else has finished second 6 times.
yeah, well, second don't count. Second's first loser.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, because he's old.
Hey, he was winning races at 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kurt, great stage. Obviously, by our winner of the stage, Cole Martin, looked to be very strong. I would say right now those three strongest cars are going to be him, the 21 of Nathan Mon, and the 33 of Jovi Ray. Can he make it back up through traffic and get back in there in contention for this win? He was very strong in that opening stint of 50 laps that we had, and then unfortunately after pit stops got caught up in some mess that wasn't his fault. But luckily not any damage really to his car, so we'll have to see if Jovi Ray can make it through the pack, Kurt. Looks like he pulled some strategy on that pit stop, Kurt, because I see him in front of a lot of cars.
Yeah, and I'm wondering where this thing is going to run out here because I'm seeing Jovi all the way towards the front, but it doesn't look like did he pit? Yeah, he did pit. So he only took right sides apparently because he was only in for 6.3. So definitely a big move to move him back up towards the front. I don't know how this is going to work out for him because we're 70 laps in. We're coming up on the halfway point here. So we've got another 72 laps to go before we end out this race. But Jovi was one of the fastest cars out front with Cole Martin. Ran with him pretty much that entire first half of the race before we had that caution come out. And then Jovi was in the next caution. So we'll see if he can hang on to this thing.
The problem I see with Jovi is he's the first car on this strategy, and then you got the two in front of him that did not pit. But Jovi, he being that first car, the good thing is he is on the inside. You definitely do not want to be on that outside line with older tires. But if he took two and he took care of the left sides during that little stint that we had, it might not be that bad. And with the speed that he's shown, he might be able to hang on to this and gain that track position that he might not have got by putting on four and trying to pass everyone.
Yeah, and the front row shed is consistent of two drivers that pitted because they had damage. 22 was involved in an incident. Hunter Bailey hit the inside wall and had some damage to his left front, but he did not get a caution, didn't go a lap down from it. So they've only been on the track for 10 to 11 laps, which we just seen Cole Martin win the stage with being on about 8 to 12 lap old tires. So I don't know how long they can hang on to this lead, but if they can be up here in the top 10 when they get to the green flag stops, that's probably the best situation for them.
Yeah, I mean, for Hunter, getting the restart jump is going to be key. If he can clear the 22 going into one, and he has that 22 to help fight off these cars with fresh tires, he might be able to stretch it out for a little bit. As we've heard, even from the winner of that stage, Cole Martin, it's really hard to pass. And, his tires aren't that old to where these guys are just going to be so much faster. They're going to have to work for it.
Definitely. But looking through the rest of the field, Cole Martin sitting in fourth now, Nathan Mon fifth, Wesley Jeanette sixth, Dakota Ramsdale seventh, Tyler Belanger eighth, Nick Gowan ninth, Brandon Watkins 10th, Austin Walton 11th, John Osborne 12th, Johnny D in 13th, Bill Hells 14th, John Tiller in 15th, Devontae Peterson in 16th. Chris Murphy shed after that incident is now back in 19th. Didn't see if he was able to get that car fixed in time. Looks like he was on pit road only for 0.7 seconds, so not sure if that was a complete stop or not. I don't see the damage fixed, so maybe that was just an extra stop for fuel. We're back underway here for Velocity Motorsports, race number 8 of the season. We've only got 2 or 3 more races left in the regular season, Chad. We've got a battle for third already. Jovi Ray trying to stick with Cole Martin. Cole Martin went around on the outside of him, completing that pass. Now looking to work on the 22 of Jason Blaney, who has a fast car on short runs and was spun earlier, but on a little older tire. So we'll see if Cole's able to make that pass. It's super tight on the exit, gets loose himself. He's going to give up positions to Jovi and Nathan Monchad.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. If Hunter could get the jump and caution's out curve, big stack up entering turn 1.
And that's going to be the 42 of Johnny D that's going to be involved in that. Papa Bear, John Tiller, Bill Sleep, all involved in this one. So we'll back it up here and catch to see what caused this caution to come out.
Oh, so this starts, Kurt, with the 42 and the 81 of John Osborne. That's where this caution starts. And it looks like a bad side draft in my book on the 42.
Yeah, it looks like he's tried to side draft and just double tapped him on the left rear, and it turned the 81 to the inside wall. And then obviously it was a pinball machine in there for the 42 as he got bounced off of several cars, causing a lot of damage to other cars, Shad, that just had nowhere to go as they were coming off that corner at full speed.
Yeah.
You can see the 42 when he comes off the corner on the 81. They're just getting up to full speed. You can hear him shifting still. Comes in around off this corner. Gets a good run, though, off this corner and makes up a ton of ground on the 81, who struggles a little bit out of that corner. You can tell he tries to go down a little bit. Just double taps the left rear and turns the 81. So that's going to involve Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, the 26 of Ryan Horvath.
Nah. Why don't you show the fans the cockpit view of Chris Murphy and how well he did it, avoiding this as the seas parted for him.
All right, well, we're inside the 7 car of Chris Murphy. All right, there goes the 81 getting shook out. And yeah, seas definitely parted there, but not by much. That was a close call for the 7.
Taking evasive maneuvers and got on the brakes just enough to be able to avoid that and let those cars separate. Murphy now going to be on pit road trying to fix that damage that he still has from that wreck that he was involved in, not of his own doing. But he should be able to get a lot of this fixed, I would think, under this caution. As watching his car, I see the creases starting to close up a little bit, so he is getting a lot of it fixed.
All right, well, let's go and see if we can find another driver here to talk to. I was going to try to pull up Hunter Bailey, but he is not in the chat.
Jovi, right?
Sure, pull Jovi up.
Is he in there?
I would believe so.
My keyboard's not working.
All right,
I can't do it.
Jovi, you got a copy of this of Swats and Cadillac in the booth.
Yeah, I got you guys. What up?
What's going on, Jovi? We've seen you up front. We've seen you spinning around. We've seen you driving backwards. It's been an eventful night for you so far, but you're currently back up in the top 3 with some strategy call there. It looks like you only took right sides on that one pit stop. How's the track feeling, and is tonight the night?
I don't think tonight's gonna be the night. I've been fighting a really loose car coming out of 3 and 4. I took fuel only on that last pit stop to get back some track position. It's kind of like really too hectic back there.
Yeah, Joey, we've seen the guys that get put back in the traffic just have a struggle to get back to the front. So obviously with the strategy call, it gives you that track position that you much needed. Now you just kind of sustain or at least minimize the damage until this next pit stop. Do you think you got anything for that 31 and 21 that are going to be side by side of you or right behind you, as those 3 cars, including yourself, looked very good in that first opening stint?
I think I should be able to if I could get back on the same pit cycle as them. If we have same tires, I should be able to give them a good run for their money.
All right, Jovi, well, I'll send you back down to, I believe, WMS, correct?
Yeah.
All right, I'll send you back down to your teammates. Good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you in the night somewhere other than second.
Thank you. Later, guys.
Later. All right, Shad, so you heard it there from Jovi. He doesn't think he has what he got to compete with the 31 unless he can get back on the same cycle. We've seen now cautions breeding cautions. We've had 3 incident cautions tonight. Do you think we're done for a little while? We got 66 laps to go as the pace car is going to drop on off for the restart zone. Hunter Bailey leading him in again with old tires.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these guys, like Cole Martin, like Nate Damon, they want to see that long run. They showed the speed on that long run. But, someone like Joey Ray, if these laps keep clicking off, eventually everyone's going to have to pit to be able to make it to the end, which would then allow him to be back on equal set of tires. As that restart happens, Kurt, and he loses third place to Nathan Vaughn. The 31 of Cole Martin Kurt did not get a great jump and lost a few positions. And then up front, Kurt, Hunter Bailey did not get the jump that he had on the previous restart, as Jason Blaney was able to stick with him and is actually looking like he might go for a pass as these guys go down into turn 1.
He's closed right on the back bumper of the 24, but does not have the entry to get into turn 1, Shed. As we've stated all night, it's so hard to go into turn 1 side by side. So he's got to pick and choose where he makes that move, and I think he makes it here in 3. As you can see him looking low, and caution's out again.
Looks like
big pile
off
up in the
turn
back.
2. Not sure. Yeah, that's a track blocker.
Wow. There's going to be about at least 10 cars involved in this one.
Yeah, looks like my buddy Murphy's in this one, and he might need the fast repairer now.
Well, my screen is completely red for SDK, so I'm going to go all the way back to the top to see what happened here in this incident here. I don't even know who to look at to go with this one, but I'll go with Devontae first to see where this starts out.
I'm seeing maybe Nick Gallen.
All right, going up to Nick.
Oh. No, the 6 of Dakota Ramsdale is where it starts, and then obviously then Nick Gallen, and then everybody behind that.
All right, we're watching along with the 6 of Dakota Ramsdale here as he gets loose coming off of turn 4. Spins it around, or turn 2. Spins it around, goes through the backstretch, and you can see the cars just piling in here. Shad, that looks like one of those gifs we see online when you Google NASCAR racing going into a corner and there's so many different cars piled in. I mean, that's pretty much everybody behind Nick Gowan is involved in this one. Not a whole lot of people made it through this. Some of them didn't have contact. Some of them were able to lock up the brakes fast enough, but definitely losing a lot of positions there as they all got stopped on track.
Yeah, it looks like the only car I see that really made it through, that was in the danger zone, was going to be that 29 of Andrew Bolander, maybe the 10 of Sean Walton, and I think maybe the 53 of Bill Hells as well. All back there where they probably should have been in the wreck, but made it through it.
Hello? Hello?
Tyler, you got a copy of this Watson Cadillac in the booth?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
All right, Tyler, we got the UPS machine riding currently in the top 10. You're up 16 spots from your starting original position here. The track is definitely, or maybe it's just a car, is really loose for a lot of guys. We've seen a lot of give early on in the race, and it seems like guys are kind of ramped up before the stage break, but it doesn't seem like guys are being super aggressive. They're just being really loose coming off the corners. Is the car changing at all throughout the night? The temperature really hasn't changed on track.
Yeah, definitely, at least in my experience, starts out really tight, and it's just got a little snap, especially off the exit of 4, if you run that third groove, at least for me. If you downshift, it helps, surprisingly. If you stay in 5th, it seems to really just snap out of 4. But it's tight for the first 5 or 6 laps, and it starts to loosen up quite a bit at the end of that first run before the stage. As 45, 50 lap run or whatever, it was crazy loose. So I know we're getting a string of cautions right here, but I'm pretty proud, honestly, of everybody. This has been pretty good racing and pretty respectful, patient. Even that last wreck, I saw it took out a ton of cars, but it was just a guy getting loose. It wasn't anybody making a boneheaded move. So I'm impressed for that. I'm impressed myself. This is my least favorite track. I didn't even want it on schedule, but too many people asked for it, so it's here. So I'm glad to see that they're utilizing it and not turning it into a crapshoot.
Well, Tyler, we've seen you make a charge from the back with no lap time during qualifying to finding yourself all the way up into P3 at one point. Even led a lap, I believe, under the pit cycle that we first had in that first stint. It looks like the 33, the 21, and that 31 are all very strong. Do you got anything for these guys, on this, what do we got, 50 some odd laps?
I don't think so. I'm just happy to be where I am and hopefully walk away with the top 10.
All right, Tyler, we'll send you back down to the 619 Motorsports, and good luck on the rest of the race.
Thanks, man.
All right, Shad. So we're gonna get back to green here. We've got restart zone, and we're back under green now.
Yeah, 59 to go. Hunter Bailey gets a good jump that time, able to clear that 22 of Jason Blaney before they get to turn 1. He needs to hang on to this lead. Let Jason Blaney be his blocker between him and that 21 who's got the fresher tires a handful of laps ago when we were under that stage break. But watching these two go through these turns, Kurt, it looks like Blaney's a little better, especially through 3 and 4. As he gets a run, Kurt, now looking to the inside of that 24. Is the 24 going to give it up? No, they're going to go side by side, and that's what happens.
24 gets put into the wall. Hunter Bailey not going to be appreciative of that move from the 22. We're not too far into the race, Chad. We've got 58 laps to go. Is that a move that you would have expected maybe with 10 laps to go and not 58 laps to go?
It just depends. We've seen that the clean air is really keen around here, as we've seen, even the fastest cars have a hard time passing in traffic. I'm going back and watching that little incident between the 22 and 24. Yes, the 22 comes up with that shallow entrance that he had to turn 1, but the 24 was pinching him down pretty far. He didn't give him very many lanes to be able to drift up, and that's kind of the natural line when entering turn 1 is enter low, and then your car kind of drifts up, and 24 really didn't give him but maybe a half a lane to drift up, and it just wasn't enough right there, and unfortunately the 24 paid the price for it.
I'm looking back through the field right now, Chad, and I'm kind of amazed at Devontae Peterson back here in 11th. If you look at his car, Chad, it is smashed. The 5 car having some heavy damage on the front end and sides, and he's able to still make speed and passes. So somehow he's able to maneuver around this track with some high rate of speed, even though he's got clearly a damaged car. But Nate Mon looking at the back of the 22 now, right on the back bumper, as Jovi Ray closes in as well. Jason Blaney slips up the track just a little bit, getting a big run off the corner. We'll see if Nathan Mon is able to dive in underneath him. Doesn't look like those tires are really being a huge advantage for the 21 as of yet, Chad. How long do we
Jovi Ray gets loose. Oh, he's almost safe, end of the wall, and nobody. Oh, yep, now the 9 comes Austin Walton. Austin Walton just rear-ended that 5 car.
Oh, you said Jovi, you mean Devontae.
Oh, yeah, Devontae, Devontae got loose. Yeah, he got really loose coming out of turn 2, and it took him the entire backstretch just to get it under control. Unfortunately, he was going so slow, and cars were having to go left and right of him, and unfortunately for the 9 of Walton, just nowhere to go, and ran right into the back of him. A ton of damage now to the front end of that 9 car. He's going to have to worry about overheating issues.
Yeah, we're looking at the battle for the lead there, but yeah, back to the 9. Definitely some heavy damage. Skirt lifted up on the front, and it looks like it's not driving straight either, Shad, as it got loose there coming off of turn 4 again. But front end, definitely some heavy damage to it. And these front 6 or 7 cars, Shad, have been the fastest all night, with Jason Blaney, Nathan Mon, Jovi Ray, Cole Martin, and Wesley Jeanette. Those front 5 have pretty much been in the top 5 almost all night. Nathan Mon
just took the lead. He does have the fresher tires between him and the 22, but that 31 of Cole Martin also on the same strategy of that 21 just got around Jovi Ray for 3rd place. So Cole Martin trying to get back to where he was, and that is the guy out front. But unfortunately for him, he's going to have to get around that 22, who's not that far off the pace, even with older tires, as he didn't make it easy for the 21 and Nathan Mon to get around to him. So Cole Martin's going to have to fight the same battle, and he's going to probably lose some more time to that 21 in doing so.
Now, these guys just saw the move the 22 made on the 24 Does that give you an open way of doing something, Shad? If you see a guy make a move like the 22 did on the 24, when you come up to him, does it give you a free pass to say, hey, I just watched you drive this way, I'm going to drive you the same way? Or does it matter that it wasn't you that the move was done to?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with me, at least being a driver. Is if you did it to me, it's fair game. But if you did it to somebody else, sorry about your luck, that wasn't me. But yeah, right there, it gets extremely tight coming out of 2. Jason Blaney does. 31 to Cole Martin gets a huge run coming down the backstretch. Going to clear that 22, try to slide up in front of him, pull the slide job. 22 gives him a little bit of a break there on exit of 4 and give the second place now to the 31 of Cole Martin.
And I will say, good recovery from Hunter Bailey after getting put into the wall in turn 1. He has fallen back to about 6, Shad, but he's stabilized right there with Tyler Belanger right behind him in 7th. Bill Hills in 8th. Andrew Bolander back there in the 29, sitting in 9th. And Ryan Crooks, after being involved in that incident, Shad, where the track blocker happened, he was sitting sideways in that one. Doesn't look like he has too much damage to his car that I can see, but he is sitting in the top 10 still. Ryan winning 2 races so far this season. Could be looking at a third here, but he has not been in the top 3 almost all night.
Yeah, and our 4th place runner Jovi Ray, also on old tires, told us under the caution that he took fuel only, so he's on the same tires, I believe, as that 22 in front of him. His lap times, Kurt, I watched him as the last time by, about a 10th to about almost 10th and 3/4 slower than our leader of Nathan Mon, but still hanging in there with way older tires. But if he can hang on and stay within a few seconds, Kurt, we get a caution here in a little bit, it's going to equal things out, because I believe everybody's going to come down and pit, because then they will be close to making it. Now, granted, if we go another 7 laps, everybody would be good from there.
Yeah, I mean, we have 47 to go. We've seen the furthest anybody went was 53, so they're within the window to make it to the end. But I would think you would run this one until you start seeing guys come down pit road before you try to take advantage of that. But do you be the first to come down? I personally don't think you be the first to come down. I think you're probably within the first 5 to come down at some point.
I think it just depends on how far you are back from the leader. Like, in Jovi's, his situation right now, he's on older tires. He's not gaining on the leader. He's losing time. So if he comes down first and runs, 5-6 laps before the leader does, he could be possibly running, a half second to, a second faster. And he's currently right now 2 seconds out of the lead, so he could make up a ton of ground and actually take the lead through the cycle. And I don't think 5 laps would really be enough to make a huge difference coming down to the end.
Well, we'll see how this thing plays out here with 44 laps to go. We've got Sandra Nielsen out there saying, come on, Johnny D, Granny, and Auntie Linda are watching. Johnny D currently sitting in the 10th spot, has made up 4 spots from his original starting position, has been involved in an incident tonight, but looks to be running pretty good right now, just inside the top 10, and looks to be making a move on 9th place. Bill Hills right now in 53, going through turns 1 and 2. Shag slides up in front of that Bill Hills machine and takes over that position. So now he has moved into 9th place and going to set his sights on the 2 car as they come off of turn 4 through the start stripe. 42 now in 9th.
Yeah, Johnny D with a pretty solid run. Didn't have an amazing qualify, but good enough to keep him in the grass of a top 10. And I don't believe has made too many mistakes. He did get into that 81 though, and cause that 1 wreck, but for the most part has kept his nose clean. And right now is currently sitting with a good grasp on a top 10 position, which I'm sure a lot of drivers would be happy with the competition that we have here in velocity and the fact that this is Darlington. But up front, Nathan Mon currently has about a 0.7 of a second lead over Cole Martin. And Cole Martin, Kurt, to me, it looks like he is closing that gap.
Jovi Ray coming down pit road. Jovi being the one to come down first, Shab. We've got 41 laps to go. It's well within the window. He doesn't spin out this time, so he's going to have a decent entry into pit road if he can hit his pit stall correctly. Should come out pretty well, have that second gap of lap time if he can do it. But he should be able to make it to the end from here.
Yeah, the only problem I have with him coming this early, unless he had to for fuel, which I see Jason Blaney still out there, and we know Jovi came down and topped off when everyone else came down during that stage. So he had the fuel to go with the leaders. His problem is he's losing so much time. But right now, Kurt, he's going to go one lap down. If the caution was to come out and he's not that first car a lap down, which currently is held by, I believe, Nick Gowan, you know,
who has
Jovi's
pit as well. He pit 3 laps ago.
Yeah, and Nick just went around Jovi, actually. So that's the man that Jovi has to get around to be that lucky dog. Presented by Alexandria Custom PCs. But if he doesn't and he gets trapped a lap down, Jovi's race might be over. Now, granted, if this thing stays green, Kurt, like we hope it does, he could be sitting pretty good, but his tires are going to be extremely old. And there's the caution.
Wow. Nick Gowan going to get the lucky dog shed. Jovi Ray, though, can stay out and go back onto the lead lap, but he's going to start at the end of the tail line, which is about where he's at anyways on the track shed.
Wave rounds, he actually starts at the back of the pack. Yeah, so I think all the leaders are going to come this time.
I would think.
If they don't, Jovi is going to have to hope for another caution and be that lucky dog. If the leaders come, though, he should be able to get that wave round, find himself back on the lead lap. Now, granted, he is going to be way in the back of the pack. But I don't know where that caution, where it started.
I don't see it. Looks like Hunter Bailey may have crashed. So let me go back and find Hunter Bailey. And we'll take a look. So we're going to the 24. And Hunter was right there in the top 10, so it goes across the start stripe, goes into turn 1 and 2, and we'll see where caution happened. Looks like he gets into the wall.
Johnny D.
Johnny D again. Oh, love tap to the left corner. Turns the 24 into the 53 of Bill Hellshad. That's going to be some damage to the 53 as well. Yeah, that's twice now Johnny D has tapped the left rear of a driver and sent them around in this race. I don't think he's making a lot of friends out there.
Same spot, too, the exit of turn 2. I'm pretty sure Johnny had fresher tires. Obviously, the 24 staying out through the stage break and everything else. Just gets a great run on him, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of room on the exit of 2, and clips that left rear and spins the 24. 24, though, I don't believe has all that much damage. A little bit on the right rear from where Bill Hales got into him, but I think he should be okay.
We'll pull up Nate Mon and talk to him while we're under caution. Nathan, you got a copy of this? Swatza and Shadowlac in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
What's going on in that Sundrop paint scheme? You are out front. You've been up front most of the night here, contending. The 2 fastest guys around you, though, is going to be Cole Martin and Wesley Jeanette right now. Jovi, obviously a teammate of yours, has been really fast as well, but not in contention right now as he took an early pit stop there. What are you going to have to do to stay out in front of Cole Martin, who I do believe is another teammate of yours?
Yeah, Cole's been really quick tonight. I feel like on the very short runs, I've got a little bit more pace, but he's a little bit better at just saving just enough to catch back up. I know he was pulling me back there at the end of that run. Yeah, I mean, I think he's really got a good chance at it, getting by. I just really do like being out front with the clean air. It makes a huge difference on the exit of 2. Just getting that car to rotate and turn down to the exit. Definitely a lot tighter when you're behind somebody. So really tough to get a good run out of 2 to make a pass into 3. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Keep this Sundrop 21 car out in front and see how the rest of the race shakes out. And fingers crossed this is the last caution we have.
Nathan, we've seen you and the 31 both be there on the long run, and obviously with the short run starting so close to the front. We know it's hard to pass here, especially as these tires age. With this track being basically one groove around here, we got 36 lap, which is close to being a fuel run. what's it going to take for you to hold your teammate off?
I think just saving what I can when I can, and hopefully by the end of it, I've got a little bit more grip than he does. Like I said, I think the clean air will help me out a little bit, but yeah, I think it's just going to be saving that extra bit of tire while maintaining speed. So.
Well, Nathan, we appreciate you coming up into the booth here and giving us a little rundown of what's going on track and stuff, and we hope to see you at the end of the night.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, Shad, so you heard it there between the two teammates there. Their other teammate, Jovi Ray, so 3 teammates being up front most of this night, Shad, and they've been really fast, but Jovi, obviously, you're going to have to start in the tail end of the line here. I don't know if he can make it back up here unless we get some cautions that he avoids. But these 2 up front have been extremely fast. We'll see if the 21 can hold off the 31.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, and don't look, too far, but in that second row, you got 2 more teammates that showed speed in practice. Maybe lacked a little bit on that first long run that we had on the night. But, they could get up there and make a move and, maybe settle this between them as well. As the 22 Kurt, Jason Lenny gets a great jump, and he's stuck right with that front 2, separated himself by a few car lengths over his teammate, less than that, he's been fourth.
Yeah, and I'll also say this, don't look now, but that 2 of Ryan Crooks is coming. He's up into the top 5 right now, trying to chase down these top 4. That's never a good sign when you see Ryan coming at the end of the races like this. He's usually pretty good at conserving. He's got 2 wins. I've seen him win in a lot of different leagues. And Shad, we've got another caution out. And
yeah,
hopefully this doesn't involve the 33.
Looks like the 4 and the 8.
The 4, that's
slow coming out, or the 44 and the 8 coming out of turn 4.
I was gonna say, what are you doing out there on track? All right, so the 44 is going to be Brandon Watkins. So we'll take a look and see what happens to this Kyle Petty throwback with the 8 car of Michael Carter. So it looks like the 44 does the same thing the 42's been doing all night, gets into the 8 car and turns him around sideways on the front stretch. 8 hitting the wall, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage to either one of these cars yet. It was kind of a soft touch to the inside wall for both of them.
Yeah, I can't really say I blame the 44 there, Kurt. He's underneath that 8, and
I think
the 8 kind of
loose and
comes
came
down. Yeah, he kind of comes down on the 44. The 44's got a nose there, so I think I would have to put that on the 8. But yeah, the 44 looks pretty good. The 8's got a little bit of damage. Should be easily repairable without using a fast repair if he even still has one. But yeah, 44 Kurt I think is still good to go.
All right. We'll take a look for Ryan Crooks, who's down in the Splash Brothers Racing Shed, which throws that throwback to Mighty Ducks for us. But we'll bring up Ryan Crooks and talk to him in that 2 car. Ryan, you got a copy of the SWATs and Cadillac in the booth.
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, Ryan, we've seen you kind of go from the front to the back to the front to the back, and now you are back up front here in the top 5. You've got 2 wins on the season. How are you going to do this to get a 3rd win on the season from that top 5 starting position on next restart?
Yeah, we can definitely do it. I just got to get. I need a green flag run. It's hard to make up positions on the restart because it's so tight, and but I feel like once it kind of gets single file, the first couple of laps is kind of the best time to pass, especially if you've got short run speed. I feel good about managing the long run speed. Even if it goes green here, we'll have, I don't know, probably 28 to 27 to go, which is still a longer run at Darlington, but yeah, I feel good about it. I just got to get some green flag runs in so I can make passes, but all in all, I feel good. It's been a very eventful day. I feel like I've been wrecked by just about everybody. I've put a Darlington stripe on about every corner and straightaway here. So all in all, we're sitting good.
Well, Ryan, it's by your standards, it's actually been a pretty quiet night for you as far as running up front. We haven't really talked about you much, with a few cars being in front of you that have shown to be a little bit faster. But the good thing for you is it looks like every corner on that car is at least square like it should be. What's it going to take in these last 28 laps to get by the 2 cars of the 31 and the 21?
Yeah, I was running third the whole first stint, and I came down and tried to short pit and missed pit exit, and just by a little bit, and was able to kind of back it up and get into pit exit. Then I sped down pit road. So I went a lap down and had to fight for the lucky dog. Got the lucky dog, and then from there it's been a snake pit in the back, man. But yeah, I mean, just need some green flag runs. I feel like if we can get some green flag runs, I think some guys may be a little, some guys up here may save a little bit more. So if I can just try to be, just opportunistic, and if I get runs, take them and hope it sticks. Just, just try to just claw my way up a couple spots just to get into a better spot to restart. Whether it's like fourth or third. Those spots you can really, unfortunately put people in bad positions if you want to do that, and if you feel confident you can do it without taking everybody out. So yeah, just try to claw my way up a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
Ryan, you're down in the Splash Brothers Racing group. I'm not seeing or haven't seen you with a teammate. Who is your other Splash Brother that should be part of this? If anything, you should switch your team name to Bash Brother.
Yeah, no, my boy Hagen got me into the group, and he's more of a super speedway guy. We'll leave it at that. So I'm sure he's probably left the golf course, probably had a couple drinks at this point. But yeah, it's just all me in there, man.
All right, well, I'll send you back down to your Splash Brothers Racing by yourself. Should just change it to Splash Racing. But we'll see if we're here at the end of the night talking to you.
10-4, man.
All right, Shab, we've got about 29. We'll have 28 to go when they come through 3 and 4 here, with the pace car is going to duck on down pit road. Nathan Mon and Cole Martin, 2 teammates out front, and then 2 teammates in the second row. It's going to get eventful here. I don't think we're done seeing the cautions as Nathan Line pulls down out of line, Shab.
Yeah, something's going on with iRacing. It had him falling to the back, and then all of a sudden sent him to the front. So I don't know what's going on there with the glitch or something, but
it's showing him 3 laps down. So
yeah, and he shouldn't be up there. But anyways, back to the restart. 21, Kurt Nathan Mon gets a great jump at that 31 of Cole Martin, all over that rear bumper curve. But back for 4th place, we see Ryan Crooks diving deep. Yeah, it makes the pass. Will it stick though on exit as the 74 Western Jeanette looks to come back at him? So far though, Ryan Crooks able to hold on to that position, as right now Kurt's about a 2 car breakaway by about 3 car lengths over 3rd place Jason Blaney.
Yeah, and don't look now, but our silent assassin that I've been talking about for several weeks, Shad, involved in an incident early on the race. He's sitting back here in 6th in that 23 paint scheme for the Ward Burton throwback. Jose Ruiz has somehow crept up into the top 10. Bill Hill's got really loose there, Shad, coming off of turn 2 as we come through here. But Chris Murphy, Shad, back up into the top 10, now sitting 8th. Gets around Bill Hill's after he got loose.
Yeah, got him involved in a couple of accidents, had to use a fast repair, and finds himself back up in the top 10. If he can keep it clean and finish with a top 10 after the season he's had, I think Chris would be pretty happy with that, as he's always pretty much getting in other people's wrecks here lately. But so far, hanging on to a top 10. We'll see if he can do it for another 25 laps.
Ryan Crooks looking low on the 22, not able to complete the pass. He's all over the back bumper. We'll see if Ryan's able to get a turn down off the corner here. Blaney getting a little loose there. Ryan going to look underneath him. Front 2 still single file. Ryan underneath Blaney through turns 1, puts Blaney in the wall. Same move as Blaney put on Hunter Bailey. We'll see how Blaney responds to that. Teammate of Blaney, Wesley Jeanette, now going to try to move into 3rd, or move into 4th by trying to pass Jason Blaney. Ryan better get away from these 2 as 2 teammates. We've seen teammates gang up on other drivers in the past.
Yeah, Ryan Crooks kind of sent it into turn 3 there and drifted up right into the 22, who's right there, on that right side of Crooks, and it sent Blaney up into the wall. Blaney's car though looks pretty good though. I don't see any cracks or anything in the bumper or right side at all. But her up front, Nathan Mon out to about 3/4 of a second lead over a second place Cole Martin. Cole Martin had a little bit of slip up coming out of turn 4 that last time by. It allowed Ryan Crooks to gain a ton of ground on him going down the front straightaway. Ryan Crooks, we heard him say that if you're going to make passes, it works good to do it in the first handful of laps after a restart. He's made some ground up and finds himself right now in P3. But the problem is, Kurt, the two fastest guys all night are
Yeah, Nathan Bond separating himself. We've got 22 laps to go now, getting into that final bit of run here. Cole Martinson second, Ryan Crooks third, Jason Blaney fourth, Wesley Jeanette fifth, Tyler Belanger sixth, Jose Ruiz seventh, Chris Murphy eighth, Dakota Ramsdale ninth. A very good run for Dakota and Bill Hillshad, who's sitting in 10th. Sean Walton at 11th, Jovi Ray now up to 12th. Nick Gowan 13th, John Tiller 14th, Andrew Bolander 15th, Brandon Watkins, who we saw involved in that issue earlier with Chris Murphy, back in 16th. Johnny D, who we've seen in multiple incidents tonight, in 17th. Hunter Bailey in 18th. Bill Sleep 19th. And that is our lead lap cars.
Yeah, things starting to settle out right now between our front three. Doesn't look like Cole's really gaining anymore, and it doesn't look like Ryan's gaining on Cole right now. This could be to where they just sit back, run a pace to save those tires, and maybe with about 5 to 10 to go, see what they can do as far as running someone down or getting by someone. But you definitely don't want that leader to stretch out that lead too far, because that's just more time you have to run back down and use up those tires just to get to them to give yourself a chance. But I wouldn't be surprised, Kurt, if we do get down to that and someone's on the bumper of someone else, he might give them a little bit of a nudge. Maybe not, though, between these two teammates that are up front, but Ryan Crooks has showed the aggression already getting by that 22 of Blaney. Does he have that aggression to get by the front two to get this victory here at the Lady in Black?
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it now twice by two different guys in second that were allowed or were able to make the pass by diving it in, sliding up the track, and shoving that car into the wall. I don't think we'll see Cole Martin do that to his teammate, but if Ryan Crooks gets to the 31 or the 21, we may see that happen again. I think if Jason Blaney gets to the 2, we'll definitely see it as he'll see it as payback to being done to him. But Jason also did it to the 24, so that's where I'm saying I know you as a driver, you look at it as, hey, it wasn't me that it was done to, so until you do it to me, I'm not going to do anything. But there are drivers out there who say, hey, I watched you drive another guy like that. It's open season. If you're going to drive like that to pass somebody to take the lead, I'll drive like that to pass you myself.
Yeah, the good thing, though, for Ryan Crooks is this front three has opened up a gap of about 2 seconds back to those two teammates of Jeanette and Blaney. So, Blaney and Jeanette are going to have to find some pace here in these last 16 to go to be able to even get to these guys. But right now, Kurt, these front three pulling away, and it could be a battle between these three when we get down to it.
Yeah, if we don't see a caution come back out to restack them, Chad, I think it comes down to these three. We've got enough fuel and tire to make it to the end of the race. I don't think, unless a caution comes out, we'll restack them, and guys will get them a little more aggressive. But at this point, they're pretty much all single filed out majority of the way, and there's a lot of teammates around each other trying to make up spots. But I will say this, Jovi Ray, though, coming from the back, Chad, now up to P8. So a good recovery from Jovi, having one of the faster cars out there tonight with his two teammates leading the race in first and second. Jovi is coming. I just don't know how much he can do it to get up to the top 5 unless a caution comes out that he's not involved in. If a caution does come out, then I would say Jovi has a pretty good chance of at least getting to the top 3 again.
Yeah, looking up front in front of these leaders, it looks like they're going to at least catch one lapped car, and that's going to be the 45 of Brock. After that, though, they have pretty much an entire straightaway in front of Brock before they catch another pack of lap-down cars. I don't think they'll get to them in 14 laps, but that one car of the 45 of Brock, I believe these leaders will catch, and it's going to be who can get around him the quickest. Hopefully Brock just pulls down out of the way and lets these leaders battle this out and doesn't dictate this race ending.
Yeah, most of the time, lap down car shed will move out the way. A lot of times, the leaders will call it out or the
caution.
Caution.
This resets the entire field, and I see
Murphy.
the 7. Yeah, the 7 and the 53.
We'll go back and take a look at this one. But Chris Murphy going to be involved in his 3rd caution of the night.
It's on Murphy.
Looks like he wobbles there coming out of the corner. Side by side with a 10. Dumps it off into the corner. Slides up the track in front of the 53. Gets loose. Slides it down, whips it back, and comes right back in front of the 53. Another big wreck for the 7 and the 53 as he was involved in an incident earlier as well. Definitely not going to be a good night for the 7 getting back here, but I wonder how much this messes with the mindset of the 21, Chad. Now we've got less than 12 laps to go. We'll have about 9 or 10 laps to go by the time we go back green. And a lot of guys are pitting. Cole Martin swings back out and stays out on track, Chad. A lot of drivers coming down pit road, though. I wonder if this is the move for Cole Martin. Jovi Ray going to stay out. Nick Gowan staying out. Dakota Ramsdale, the 44, Brandon Watkins also staying out. Nathan Mon and the rest of the leaders with Ryan Crooks, Wesley Jeanette, Jason Blaney, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Belanger, Sean Wallen all coming down pit road, Chad. And we've seen how hard it is to pass. Is this a smart move by Cole Martin and Jovi Ray? And that's his teammate that he just dipped on, Chad.
Yeah, I think Cole actually wanted to come down pit road, but him and the 21 made such a late dive that the 2 was already committed. And when the 31 came down, the 2 was there, and he just couldn't make it. I'm surprised, though, he went past that commitment line. I'm surprised there's actually not an iRacing penalty for that, unless they actually don't give it. But this could benefit them, Kurt. There's quite a few cars, I believe, that did stay out.
About 5.
Yeah, so that could be enough for the 31 of Cole Martin. If he can stretch this lead out, Kurt, we're only going to have about 8 to go. Is that going to be enough time with these guys on fresh tires to run him back down? I don't know.
I don't know either. But Jovi Ray's got a little older tires than his teammate who's in front of him. He's got 4-lap older tires. Nick Gowan is sitting in the top 5 with the best set of tires within that top 5 group of 26-lap old tires. Dakota Ramsdale with 27, Brandon Watkins with 27, and then Nathan Mon will be back in 6th in the 3rd row when we go back to this restart with fresh tires with Ryan Crooks, Wesley Jeanette, and Jason Blaney behind them. But we've seen how difficult it is to make passes, Chad. If these 3 or 4 can get separated and away from the pack, and they have to battle it out with Brandon Watkins and Dakota Ramsdale, Cole Martin, Jovi Ray, and Nick Gowan could really pull away from this and maybe not be run back down within the 7 to 8 laps. We'll go back green.
Yeah, I mean, we already seen earlier, Jovi Ray had like 20 some odd lap older tires than Nathan Mon and Cole Martin, and he was hanging with them, only running about a tenth and a half slower than their lap times on fresher tires. So I think if we only go back to green with 8 to go, and the freshest tires of the guys that just pit is clear back there in 6th place, meaning he's going to be on the outside to start this restart. It's going to be hard for him to pass 5 guys in 8 laps, plus run down the leader. If Cole Martin gets a great jump, which he's going to need here, he could stretch this thing out by, a half a second maybe over Jovi Ray, and then, Nathan Mon's got to get through 5 cars, plus then make up a half a second in only 8 laps. So I don't know. This could work out for Cole Martin not being able to pit. He might be able to sneak one out here.
Yeah, we got Commando Griff out there in the chat saying, I like staying out with a buffer of cars behind me. No way we're getting 8 laps of green. We will definitely see another yellow. So I'm not sure if we'll see another yellow. Hopefully we see a green flag run to the end, but you never know. And even if another caution does come out, if it's not within the top 5, Shad, you'll still have those 5-car buffer with the guys with new tires.
Yeah, very true. So, it's. I don't think we're done seeing cautions. Obviously the give and take. It's going to be all take right now, and we could have a string of cautions that's going to run these laps down, and the guys with newer tires may not even get a chance to get up there and run them down.
How about the run by Dakota Ramsdale, Shad, sitting in P4 right now in that 6 Mark Martin paint scheme for you. He's going to be starting up here in the top 4. Pace car is going to duck on down. 31 and 33 coming into the restart zone. 31 of Cole Martin going to be first on the loud pedal. Will we see another caution? We will see, Shad. 31 of Cole Martin will start this restart here. We've got 8 laps to go.
Yeah, Cole gets a good jump, but not a great jump. He wasn't able to get a great arc into turn 1. Jovi
loose
Ray,
on the top.
unfortunate, he wasn't able to get an arc at all because the 31 was right there. Jovi
Oh,
Ray's
he's in
going to
the
hit
wall.
the wall coming out of turn 2. Kurt, we're 3 wide now going down into turn 3. Nick Gowan's going to get out of that mess and come into P2. Nathan Monkert, though, on those fresh tires, still sitting back there. Actually lost a spot.
Oh, Ryan Crooks getting
Ryan
loose.
Crooks get loose in the wall. Saves it, though. He's going to lose some positions, but out front, Kurt, Cole Martin, half a second lead
Nick
right
Gowan in
now
the
over
wall.
Nick Gowan.
Jovi Ray going to have a big run on Nick Gowan in the 3 as they come off of the corner here as Nick Gowan was in the wall. Cole Martin, though, just looking to get away from everybody and pull this thing to the end. Coming to 6 to go here as he comes off of turn 4. Nick Gowan under fire from Jovi Ray. Brandon Watkins now up into P4 with Dakota Ramsdale in P5, Chad. Battling on the outside. Jason Blaney on fresh tires as well.
Caution, Kurt.
Wow. And looks
38.
like it's going to be Nathan Line.
38 slow right at the start line. And this is kind of what I was talking about. We get a string of cautions, and Nathan Mon has only been able to make up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 36. So, yeah, made up 0 positions
Yeah.
so far, and he just lost probably 5 laps. So he's gonna have even less to get there.
We'll back and take a look at Nathan Line here to see what happened to him coming off this corner. I'm going to guess he got loose. Gets down to the apron, comes back up the track. He's blocking the 26 of Ryan Horvath. Off of turn 4, hits the wall, turns down into the 26, both spinning across the front stretch. Oh, 71 of Popover getting some damage on that one as a 38 spun across the track. This is going to be touch and go, Shad. We've got 5 to go. We're going to go probably green with about 3 laps to go. I don't know where we're going to go from here, but Nick Gowan obviously benefited the most there, moved up into 2nd. He's going to start on the outside row of the 31. Jovi Ray, teammate of the 31, will start behind his teammate. Brandon Watkins will start in P4 behind Nick Gowan. Dakota Ramsdale 5th, and Nate Mon still back in 6th, with Jason Blaney sitting in 7th. Jose Ruiz now up to 8th. Tyler Belanger 9th. John Tiller 10th. And it looks like Ryan Crook slipped all the way back to 15th, Chad.
Yeah, with those fresher tires, Kurt, it does take a couple laps for them to start to feel real comfortable to where you can start really laying down some qualify lap times. And unfortunately, those are the laps that Nathan Mon just doesn't have anymore. The thing about this next restart, Kurt, is Cole Martin has got to get a better restart than he did on that last one. Or Nick Gowan is going to hang on his outside. And I think if you're on the outside coming out of turn 2 and the guy on the inside does not push up into you, you can find yourself on the lead as you're going to carry that momentum down the backstretch. So Cole Martin, Kurt, to me, is going to have to get one heck of a restart, one of those Kyle Busch patented restarts, if he wants to walk away with this win.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Nick Gowan has 2 wins this season, has finished in the top 3 multiple times this season, has an average finish of P7 due to that Daytona finish. Jovi Ray sitting there with an average finish of P2 this season, sitting in 2nd in the points with Nick being in 1st. He's going to start 3rd behind his teammates. I think he could be a factor in this one, Chad, with 2 guys behind them who's not used to technically being up here in the top 5 with Brandon Watkins and Dakota Ramsdale. Both really good races tonight for these 2 drivers in that 6 and 44. You said pre-race, Chad, that those guys outside the top 12 needed to have some good races with only 2 to 3 races left in the regular season. 6 and 44 definitely putting that to the track tonight, Chad, by having a very good run.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Jason Blaney is in the top 12, but hasn't had that great race tonight. He's shown speed, especially on the short run. He could be a factor if these front few rows get some contact going between them. But I think, Kurt, our winner is going to come from these front 3, I will say, is where our winner's coming from. And if I had to pick, it's going to be that 31. Looks like, Kurt, we're actually going to go to a green-white checkered.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the 31, but I'm hoping and praying and crossing my fingers for the 33 because he called his shot about 9 weeks ago to say Darlington would be the race that he finally gets that first one of the season. So I think he's gonna play a factor in this. I just don't know how much of a factor with it being his teammate that's in front of him, and he's finished behind the 3 car. I don't know how many times this season. So is this another track that he feels like I don't want to be the aggressor, I don't want to be the pusher?
Well,
I
if
think
I'm
at
Cole
some point you
Martin,
have to.
I'm telling Jovi when I'm gonna gas it, and because if you're
Make
Cole
him battle
Martin,
the
you want the 33 and the 3 to be side by side going through turns 1 and 2, because that would allow him to open up a gap, and it's a gap I don't think they would be able to close unless Martin makes a mistake. So if I'm Cole Martin, I'm telling Jovi Ray, hey, I'm going at this time. I'll let you know. I'll count it down. You go when I hit 1 or whatever. And that would allow Joey to get a good jump. Obviously, Nick Allen being on the outside, not the control car, he's at a disadvantage. But Kurt, we're about to find out as these boys are about to enter that restart zone. Are you muted?
Green flag in the air as we go back to restart for a green white checker check.
Yeah, and there's that jump. Jovi got a good one. He's going to be side by side with Gowan through turns 1 and 2. Neither one of them going to give it up. It looks like Jovi had to get out of it, got loose. Nick Gowan got a heck of a run coming out of turn 2, Kurt, all over that bumper. And caution. I see the 53 of Bill Hells slowed on the backstretch.
All right, let's go back and take a look at the 53 of Bill Hills involved in, I think, his 3rd incident tonight. And is Chris Murphy involved in his 4th incident tonight? Looks like the 24 gets into the 53. 53 tries to save it. He's down on the apron, comes back up the track right in front of the 7. 7 having nowhere to go, turns the 53 around. We'll back it up and take a look at the cockpit view from the 7 car. See the 7, he got off the gas, didn't know the 53 was going to try to come back up and blend in. Had nowhere to go on that one. Shab, we got another green-white checker coming to us here with Cole Martin sitting first. Nick Gowan saw what Cole Martin did. Cole Martin saw what Nick Gowan did. Jovi Ray, though, loses the most positions there, Shad. He drops to 5th. Nathan Mon up to 4th. Brandon Watkins going to be sitting 3rd. Now another teammate going to be sitting in the top 5. So 3 teammates riding in the top 5 right now between Cole Martin, Nathan Mon, and Jovi Ray.
Yeah, that was actually beneficial, I think, for Cole Martin, as Gowan got a huge run coming out of turn 2 and was probably going to go underneath the 31 as they entered turn 3, but then the caution came out. This lets him reset it, figure out what the 3 did there, and see if he can improve on that restart. Obviously, Kurt, with the green-white checkered, I think they get 3 attempts, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check it.
I don't think there's a limit. At least as far as I remember, there's not a limit that I can think of. But
yeah, there might not be, because I don't.
It's gonna be close here.
Oh no, there is. There's 3.
Okay.
So we're on number 2.
Can Brandon Watkins play a factor in this, Shad? He's going to start behind Cole Martin. We saw the jump that Cole Martin and Jovi Ray got. Teammates obviously able to communicate to each other when the 31 was going to go, but definitely didn't help Jovi Ray as he got really loose on the top side there and got into the wall.
Yeah, with Cole Martin now not having that teammate right behind him to go side by side with Nick Gowan, he's going to have to get a better restart and definitely clear Nick Gowan by quite a bit. As we've seen the run that Gowan was able to get, if he gets that same run, I do believe he will dive it in, and these boys will be side by side going through 3 and 4.
Well, strap in, get situated in your seat because this is about to get crazy here. We just seen one green flag or green white checker. We're about to see a second one here coming, and we'll see who learned the most from that. Nick obviously had a big run, but did Cole learn what Nick did to get that big run, and can he block that big run, and will he block a run at the end of the night to get his first win of the season, or will Nick be able to pull it off and get his third win of the season? Or will it be somebody outside the top two like Brandon Watkins who's sitting here in the catbird seat waiting for something to happen between the 31 and 3? Or is Nate Mon going to try to get his second win of the season? Dakota Ramsdale looking for his first win. Jovi Ray still back here crossing fingers and toes for his first win of the season. Same with Jason Blaney, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Belanger, and John Tiller.
Yeah, and Nathan Mon now is starting. He is in position to be able to use those fresh tires. They've obviously gone through a heat cycle, though, so they should be good enough to be able to go where he wants and lay down a heck of a lap. He's going to be on the outside through turns 1 and 2, which I don't think will be that bad with the fresher tires. He might be a factor in this, Kurt, because he could get one heck of a run as they go through turns 1 and 2 on this restart.
Well, it's going to come down to this. We're going into 3 and 4 now with 1 to green. One more green-white checkered is allowed in this league, so we'll see if we need it. Do you think we go green, Chet?
I think we're going to see a third one.
All right, well, we'll see about that. But pace cars down pit road. Cars are into 3 and 4, coming into the restart zone. Green flag in the air, waiting for the restart to happen. Cole Martin trickling in on the gas pedal. Green flag. Good run by Nick Gowan on the outside, Chad, not allowing Cole to slide up in front of him. He's going to have the momentum coming off the top side for the backstretch. Gets a huge run out of the corner. Nate Mon coming with a big-headed steam as well. Brandon Watkins coming for the big-headed.
Caution.
Wow, and the leader slips all the way to 4th, I think, Chad.
Yeah, if I go back and watch that, Kurt, Gowan jumps it. He goes before the leader. And he never really gives up the stuff that he gained. He doesn't beat the leader to the line, but because he jumped it, he was able to stick to that outside, and it took the whole advantage of the 31 away. But I don't know what they would call in that in that instant. But
I believe this is going to involve Bill Hills and Jovi Ray.
Yeah, definitely Jovi Ray.
Jovi getting turned by the 22. Double tapped him. 53 having nowhere to go. Nathan Line in the 38 having nowhere to go. 22 definitely gave him a double tap, but I don't know if that's because the 6 got into the wall and Jovi got out of the gas or not. We'll go back and take a look again. I don't know. That's a weird one. We'll go back and take a look from Nick Gowan's perspective, too, on the jump that you're talking about, Sheb.
Yeah, see, if you have the actual iRacing restart on, Gowan receives a penalty for jumping it.
I mean, they're both in the restart zone. I can't tell.
Yeah, but it's all on the leader. You can see the 3 get on it before, and that's what allows them to stay such side by side. And I know for a fact if the iRacing restart is turned on and you go before the leader, you're getting a black flag, whether you beat them to the line or not.
Well, that's going to be a question for the owner admins to figure that one out. I haven't seen anything come across the board from Rodney Ayers, our race control. I know we had an issue with the restart jump last or a couple weeks ago.
Rockingham, I believe, wasn't it?
It was something like that, yeah, with Ryan Crooks, and he received a penalty the next week because it wasn't gotten too fast enough. So There is plenty of time underneath this caution shed for the race control to figure it out. I don't know if they're going to give it to him or not. From the perspective of what we're looking at, it definitely looks like Gowan goes before the leader, but they're both in the restart zone, and I don't know what the rule is there. But it looks like Nick Gowan is scored as P1. I don't see anything coming across saying that he would be receiving an EOL or any kind of penalty there, so... Nate Mon going to line up on the outside. Cole Martin going to start third. Brandon Watkins going to be starting on the outside in P4.
Yeah, the good thing about Gowan is he did not beat Cole Martin to the line. You could tell he kind of let off to make sure of that. But with the restart zone not turned on, it obviously benefits to go and then kind of slow down, let the leader beat you to the line. But because of that, staying to his outside, it gave him that high line through 1 and 2. And yeah, obviously with Cole Martin not being able to float up towards the exit of 2, the car got loose and he lost not only first but second as well. Oh, and Nick Gowan pulls down.
I think he received the penalty, Sheb.
Yeah,
so that's going to put Cole Martin and Nate Mon on the front row.
I guess race control did see it, Kurt. I had a feeling that he did jump it. Now, I know he didn't beat the leader, but he definitely jumped it.
And that's all on timing, Chad. You got to listen. You got to be looking out the window. You got to be paying attention. You got to, I mean, there's so much into a restart. And it is on the driver to do it. And if you are in second on the outside, you really got to be paying attention to that bottom line of when that guy goes. And he jumped it by just a few feet over what Cole went on it. And some of that's gamemanship too, Shad. Cole didn't have to go as soon as they enter the restart zone. Some guys don't go
he
until
definitely
the end.
waited.
Yeah, he definitely waited. So Nick was trying to time it, and I think he just missed it by a few feet there.
Yeah, you see right there how Nathan Mon jumped it, and the 31, fell instantly back because he didn't jump it. But Cole Martin, he's all over that bumper though, going through turns 1 and 2, getting a great run coming out of turn 2, Kurt, underneath that 21.
Going into 3 and 4 side by side, can he make it stick down there? I don't think he's going to.
Here, look at Dakota Ramsdale trying to make a pass for third on Brandon Watkins in that fourth. Oh, Ramsdale get loose though. We have reached the final lap, Kurt. 1 lap to go around here. The Lady of Black, Nathan Mon out front. Does Cole Martin have anything for him as they go off onto the back stretch into turns 3 and 4?
Jason Blaney gets into the 44. Blaney goes to the inside wall, crashes. Jose Ruiz now coming up on the back of the 44. Nathan Mon going to come off of turn 4, Shad. He's going to go for his second win of the season. Gets the win at Darlington.
Yeah, great move on his part. He had the fresher tires. He just needed the cautions to get there, and that's what he got. And Kurt, silent killer Jose Ruiz comes all the way back up into P3. Brandon Watkins hangs on to 4th. Ryan Crooks up to 5th. Andrew Bolander, Kurt, a top 6. John Tiller, Kurt, we didn't mention all night, comes in 7th. Dakota Ramsdale, great run all night, comes in on 8th.
And somehow Chris Murphy was involved in 4 incidents tonight.
Yeah,
comes
Chris
on P9.
Murphy's front end still jacked up a little bit
and
from
Johnny
all the cautions.
It was
Johnny
in at
D.
least 3 incidents. He comes home P10 to round out the top 10 for tonight.
Yeah,
top
Johnny
3 are coming down now.
With the family watching, Johnny D brings it home in the top 10, so a good run by him as well. But Nathan Mon, Kurt, burning it down.
Yep. We'll go into the burnout celebration and come on back for the top 3 interview. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here for race number 8 conclusion. Post-race interviews coming up right now for Velocity Motorsports at Darlington. Shad, this was an eventful race. Not big in eventfulness in the first half of the race until we got close to the stage break, and then we had a couple cautions there. And then towards the end of this race, cautions definitely bred cautions. Nate Mon jinxing it a little bit maybe by saying that he was hoping this thing would go green, and all of a sudden we had I think 4 or 5 straight cautions there with 3 green-white checkered attempts. But Nate Mon comes away with the win tonight. Second win of the season for Velocity. Nate, this 21 Sun Drop was very fast. You were fast most of the night. You finished up +6 from the starting position, so you started back in P7. But you pretty much rode in the top 3, top 5 all night. You had some battling going on with your teammates of Jovi and Cole, and then Jovi kind of messed up with pitting early, went a lap down. Got back on the lead lap, but had to start at the tail end of the line and never really got back up here until right before the cautions really started getting heavy, and then he made contact with the wall. But your fresh tires definitely played a factor in this over Cole's, who stayed out. We thought maybe there was a little bit of gamemanship there back and forth where it looked like guys were going to swing in, swing out, and Cole wound up staying out. Did you think you were going to be able to make it back and get this win after the first couple cautions there where you were stuck back in 6th?
Not really, to be honest with you. I thought I kind of, thrown the race away at that point. When everyone was kind of trying to come in there, and I made that late decision to come in just because I saw a lot of fast guys coming in and knew that they wouldn't be too far behind, when they came back out. So kind of was kicking myself for a little bit, but made up some spots there in the last few cautions. Got up to P4, got a good run out of 2, made it up to 3rd. Then eventually 2nd, and then just had a good jump there in the last start to make it happen.
Well, Cole, you showed speed all night.
Nate.
You the 31 or huh? Oh yeah.
Talking to Nate.
Yeah, that's it. First time. Yeah, you, Cole, and Jovi Ray there at the start of the race were just miles ahead of everyone else. Short run, long run. You take that pit stop. I didn't think you'd get there because, the first few cautions, you were still stuck back there behind the 6th, still in 6th. You get the string of cautions, find yourself up in the top row in row 2, and you get lucky with an admin call that has Gowan fall to the back. With the previous restart, it looks like he jumped it. What were you feeling at that point, knowing that you had fresher tires than your teammate who's on your inside? You're going to have the run on the outside going through 1 and 2. What were your thoughts there?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a big moment there when the admin call. That definitely helped me out a lot, because I knew I could get out front going into 1, with Cole tucking in behind me. That at that point it was just really just don't screw up, right? I mean, I had the freshest tires, so I was going to have better drive off the corners, being able to send it in a little bit deeper into 3. Almost got into the wall out of 2 on the last lap. That sure would have been a shame, but yeah, I mean, from once I got that jump on the restart, I knew it was really just mine to lose.
Well, Nate, this 21 machine comes home first for the second time this season. We've only got a handful of races left in the regular season. You're closing the gap in the points lead by a little bit tonight with Nick getting that penalty late in the run here. What chances do you have to come away with a championship once the points reset when we get to the playoff time?
I think it's just going to come down to staying consistent every week. It's not necessarily winning every week, right? It's just about those top 5s, top 10s, that those points add up and they add up quick. So I really just think focus on consistency. If another win happens, work out for me, then that's great. But if not, we'll definitely rack up all the points that we can going into that reset, and especially just like in the real playoffs, it's all about that consistency and making it to that last race, in the top 4. So that's the goal. Felt really fast tonight, so it was a lot of fun out there.
Any shout outs for you in that 21 Sun Drop machine?
Yeah, absolutely. As always, want to shout out my family in Wilmington. I know they've already been texting me, and they're hopefully jumping up and down or something. Shout out to my fiance. She's usually says she's a curse, but she watched tonight and I won, so that curse has been broken, right? And always shout out to the team, Cole, Jovi, and Nick as well. We definitely help each other a lot during the race, and talk about some things as with pit strategy and all that. So it definitely helps to kind of bounce ideas off of them, and back to me and everything. So yeah, just thanks to them, and thank you guys as well for a great broadcast.
Well, this has moved you up into P4 in the points with your 2 wins. You guys are still pretty far back from the points lead, but with that playoff run coming and the resetting of the points, it'll put you guys all in contention. Cole is just inside the top 15, so you almost have all 3 teammates now within the top 15 and running for that playoff spot. So good luck as we go to next week, and I think it's I want to say it's a super speedway,
Talladega.
or is it Bristol? Yeah, Talladega. So friends in many places is definitely a helpful thing. So you got some good teammates, you, Jovi, and Cole. I'm sure you have some other people out there you can work with. So good luck next week when we head to the big super speedway of Talladega.
Yep. Thank you guys.
All right, we'll bring up second place, and that is Cole Martin, teammate of Nate Mon and Jovi Ray. Cole, you were pole sitter, led probably the most laps tonight. You were one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car, on a majority of the runs tonight. How did you come away with the P2? And if you would have been closer to your teammate Nate there, would you have done anything to get that first win of the season?
Uh, Honestly, I don't think I would have because we're too close to teammates. We respect each other. So if I had a chance to get inside of them, I think I would have like ran them up a little bit, but cleanly, I guess. So yeah, I just wanted to keep it clean, and yeah, I feel like I was definitely the top 3 car out there. Me, Jovi, and Nate. We're all really fast there. So I just need to learn how to finish these things off. I feel like I'm always in the lead or in the top 3 coming to the last restart, and I just always somehow to screw it up. So hopefully Talladega might wish me some luck, get me my first win here. So just going along there.
Well, you got multiple stage wins too, so that's going to help you in that point hunt too. Just have to get to the top 12 before we get to the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think I've won the last 3 stages in the
Yeah,
races and a couple top 3. So
you're closing in.
hopefully that win will be coming. Hopefully.
If you had any questions for this 31 Death Wish Coffee machine?
Yeah, I'm trying to actually pull up the standings.
He's sitting back in 15th right now, but that's without the stage break points.
Yeah, which obviously you got maximum points there, winning the only stage of the race.
I think
We go to 3.
13th.
Okay, yeah. So we got 3 tracks, all very different, with Talladega, Bristol, and then Las Vegas before we start this chase. Yeah, as Kurt was saying, you find yourself 15th. It looks like you're you're only 9 points right now out of the top 12 as it sits right now before stage points are added. Looking at those next 3 races, Talladega obviously being one that's a kind of a toss-up. Out of those 2 that remain with Bristol and Vegas, which one of those tracks are you kind of keying in on as where you think you can make up some points and find yourself in that top 12 to where you can make it into the championship?
Vegas is a pretty strong track for me. It's a mile and a half, so I'm pretty good at those. Bristol, it's been a tough track for me. I mean, most of these tracks I've never raced in next gen before. This is like my first time racing next gen, so it might be totally different than an Xfinity or a truck here or there at Bristol. So maybe it's different. So maybe it'll play in my favor. And I mean, Talladega, it's just a throw up. I mean, we plan on running towards the front and just controlling the race, but you never know what will happen there.
Well, Cole, very good run for you tonight. Had some good runs lately. You've got some stage wins. You've got some really good stage points. You're moving up into the standings. Based on my knowledge of the mathematics for this, you should be right at the 12 or 13 mark based on points, depending on, I can't remember where the guys right in front of you finished in the stage, but I think they got a couple stage points there with Brandon Watkins and Johnny D and Andrew Bolander. But you having the most points, I think it's going to move you up into close to that top 12. So congratulations on another P2 or a P2 finish for you here and another stage win. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you all for putting on the broadcast and entertaining everyone, and I'd like to thank Jovi, Nick, and Nate for being great teammates and bouncing off ideas off each other. And I'd like to thank Tyler for putting the league on. It's a fun league. I'm enjoying it, and that's about it.
All right, well, that's going to end it for our P2 finish. We'll bring up our P3, and that is the guy that I keep calling the silent assassin because for some reason he just appears out of nowhere and comes home with a top 10 finish tonight, coming home with a top 3 finish. Jose Ruiz in this 23 throwback for Ward Burton in the 22. Jose, it was an odd race. You were kind of up front, then you were in the back, then you got into an incident, then you came back up to the front, and then we kind of saw you back towards the P10 area where, or with the caution, with the everybody pitting, and then you come flying up here, and I didn't even see you get P3. All of a sudden, I just saw your name sitting there, and Shag called it out. So, just give us a rundown of those final few laps there on how you were able to navigate through those cautions and get up here to a P3 finish to get another P3 finish.
I mean, those several before when we got like 10 to go. I was kind of stuck back there. It's hard to pass on this track. I knew I had fresh tires, but it was just a matter of hoping people make mistakes or trying to get a run somewhere into the on entry. But I mean, other than that, I think I've said before, I'm not a short run person. I'm more of a long run person. So these little spurts were, was definitely not a fan of these little short runs because I'm no good at them. But yeah, those last couple, kind of got lucky. Kind of struggled on the bottom there on restarts. It was the top was the preferred line on starts, at least in my eyes. But I think the last one started fifth because I think the 3 got a penalty or EOL for something. So that kind of helped. I knew Blaney and Blaney had took 2 tires. I know a couple guys had stayed out because they didn't have any tire sets left. So yeah, after that it was just hope that I didn't get wrecked. It seems like I usually get wrecked or get involved in a wreck there at the end. But luckily, yeah, I still don't even freaking know what happened. The last lap, I kind of drew a blank there because I was in 5th, and then I think the cars in front of me got loose, and one hit the wall, one went down towards the inside wall, and I think I just got a huge run. I threw it down low into 3 and downshifted. I didn't really downshift until like maybe halfway through the run. I know a lot of guys were downshifting the entire run, I feel like, because yesterday I saw that in a different league. But yeah, just luck there at the end, and good thing fresh tires just helped me there at the end there.
Well, Jose, I do see, Kurt, that the points are actually updated on iRacing, so they must have already added the stage points. So, Jose, right now, currently, you hold on to second place, gained a little bit of ground on the leader right now in the points, Nick Gowan. But you hold on to second by 1 point right now over Jovi Ray, which obviously the points payout difference when we go into the playoffs is huge. Getting those extra bonus points for finishing where you did in the regular season. You got 3 more races before the championship does start. It looks like you're going to be pretty securely in the top 12 when we go to the championship 12. You got Talladega, then Bristol, then Vegas. I know you're pretty good at Vegas. How you feeling about Talladega and Bristol to where maybe you can make up some more ground and maybe even get a win?
Yeah, definitely Talladega. Everybody has a chance to get a victory there. I got one there a couple weeks ago in Shake and Bake, so that was cool to get my first one there in that league. But
you almost had a win here last season at Talladega, if I remember correctly. You got passed on the
I think
last lap.
so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. But we forget about that when we don't win. So But
Well, you
yeah,
almost got it
Talladega
at Daytona too. So Sebring Speedways have been your thing
almost.
lately.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, Talladega. Hopefully, I'll be up there at the front and not get taken out by getting clipped on the rear quarter panel. Seems like I always get wrecked on the last lap by getting barely clipped and ending up not where I want to be. But Bristol, I feel like for Bristol, I've never really ran there in leagues on that track. I think ran maybe one in the ARCA car. I mean, it was cool, but that was a couple years ago. So obviously these cars are a whole different animal on short tracks. I feel like so definitely gonna have to get on and practice some more. Vegas, I feel like I'm pretty good at Vegas. I think I ran pretty decent there last season, but there's a lot of faster guys in here. So I went from feel like running for top 5 last season to kind of battling for like top 12s. But I mean, I just got to get better there. But I mean, other than that, I need some stage points. We've had 8 races. I think I got stage points in 3 of them. So I do not like stage racing simply because I don't get any ever. I think that's happened in like our other league turned down for what whole season. I feel like I've gotten maybe 1-2 races with stage points. So definitely need to work on that a lot more. I feel like I've fallen behind in points to Nick simply because he gets stage points and I don't. And I still get decent finishes, but stage points definitely help as we see that in real life too. But yeah, just hopefully we can keep going, get some good finishes throughout the rest of the regular season and then into the playoffs.
All right, Jose. Well, any shout outs for you in this 23 cap machine?
Yeah, shout out to Murphy and John. I know they got wrecked. Especially shout out to Murphy. I freaking wrecked them on lap 2 last week. I don't know what I was doing. So
I didn't want to bring that up.
Oh, I did. I still feel bad about it. Yeah, I made him use his fast repair. So, but shout out to our newly renamed Ghost Rider Motorsports. And then shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to Tyler for being the admin and giving us a place to race here on Tuesdays. A lot of fun. What else? Who else? Shout out to my fiance, as always, for putting up with me leaving for what time we start? 2.5 hours, 3 hours every Tuesday or a couple days out of the week. And then let's see.
Don't forget that Jack Hawk 9000.
Yeah. But I recently got a direct drive wheel from Thrustmaster. So I think it's my second race on that. It's direct drive's awesome. I used to have a TMX. It's a little belt driven I've had for freaking 8 some odd years. And I'm surprised that didn't break yet. It's still going strong, but direct drive is definitely the way to go if you are able to get one. I definitely would. It's a huge difference maker, especially on certain tracks like Darlington. You feel every freaking seam on there. And then shout out to Shad. It's his birthday. I saw that. Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that should be it.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our top 3 finishers for tonight. Shad, obviously an eventful night tonight with 11 cautions, 10 due to incidents. Majority of them coming in the last 20 laps of this race. We go into Talladega next week, waiting for the big one to happen at some point. We've seen races at the super speedways where teammates have been able to get together and pull away. We've seen races where it comes down to the very end with cars sideways crossing the finish line for a win. Next week could be anything goes. It's a 50-50 chance of whether or not you finish that race. Starting position doesn't really matter in my opinion, other than maybe trying to avoid certain cars if you're not comfortable being around those certain cars or if they're not comfortable being around you. But other than that, it's going to be an eventful week next week when we go to Talladega on Tuesday night. Obviously, again, happy birthday to you again. coming out tonight on your birthday to do the broadcast. I have not done a broadcast on my own birthday. I think I missed it by one day last season, but you get to celebrate your birthday here with a Darlington win for Nathan Monaco Martin. I'm sure your birthday gift might have been a little better if it was Chris Murphy or Jose or one of your buddies there, but definitely a fun race, and can't wait to see what happens next week at Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, a great opening 50 laps here. The guys really took it to heart about not making the same mistakes at Rockingham. We've seen a lot of great green flag racing, guys making moves, guys starting in the back and making their way up to the front. Then we had a pretty good, decent middle part of the race, couple cautions sprinkled over. And then, the end, the aggression comes up, the take is more, and, we get a handful of caution, as or Daryl Waltrip always said, cautions breed cautions. And that ended up what happening. But overall, I still think it was a pretty great race for a tough track to have, 10 cautions by accident at a place like Darlington with this amount of cars, that amount of laps. I still think overall it was a great race. Just fantastic finish there because we didn't know who was going to win. Unfortunate for Nick Gowan. He was up there in contention to possibly win his third race of the season and be the first one to 3. Unfortunately, they made the call. And then we get Nathan Mon becoming the third driver to win 2 races. Good on him. But yeah, Kurt, we got 3 races to go before we start the chase. And looking at the points right now, Kurt, we have only 23 points separate 10th place from 17th. And we know what Talladega can bring. You get wrecked out earlier and lose a ton of points. Bristol kind of the same way because of the way it is. So some guys are going to have to kind of play it safe, but also be aggressive and getting points. And, I don't think if you're pretty much anywhere, I'd say even back all the way up to John Osborne, you only got 30 points or 37 points over 17th place. So a lot can change in 3 races. That's not a whole lot of points to give up. But, the season's turning out to be a great one, Kurt. I think it's better than season 1 with the drivers that we have in here and the winners that we've had and the racing so far that we have had, excluding Rockingham. But I'm just looking forward to these next 3 races and then to the start of the championship. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for more from the league so far. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and with 30 guys showing up week in and week out, it's been eventful on a lot of different tracks. And next week at Talladega will not be any more of a eventful race with 30 guys showing up. A lot of different teammate groupings. We'll see who can work well with each other and who can't, and we'll see who comes away with the victory next week. Will we have another multi-winner, or will we have a first-time winner finally, like we traditionally see at super speedways, where a guy comes out of nowhere because he survived and made it to the end and gets that first victory of the season. So we'll see if maybe it's Jose or if Chris Murphy can finally get his rebound going here more consistently. He might have to contact you to get maybe a Lucky Rabbit's Foot car built or painted up for you. But throw some horseshoes on there, throw some 4-leaf clover, something, because lately he's been finding every single wreck out there. But it's been an eventful one. I've got Thursday coming up with repeat over on iRock TV for the Spartan Challenge Truck Series, getting closer to the end of that season. Monday coming back for AER Championship race at Las Vegas. Will be coming in where Nick Gowan will be going for his championship in the Truck Series, defending it against several drivers who are within points for those top 4 to get there. And then we'll come back Tuesday night for Talladega. So make sure you tune in, set a clock, alarm clock, whatever you got to do to tune in week in and week out. Definitely appreciate all the people out there watching tonight. I think we're upwards of 30, 35 people between the 3 or 4 different streaming platforms. All the different people that were in there chatting, rooting on teammates, family, friends, whatever it is. But definitely appreciate everybody. And like I said, Chad, happy birthday, and we'll see everybody next week.